Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And tonight, it's all about December. And 2026 is coming, and there are new rules here in America and in many countries worldwide. You're going to have to protect yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Protect your assets, protect your money, your wealth, your credit, your identity. It's all going down. Surveillance is here as well. Facial recognition, biometrics, your thumbprints, fingerprints. That's right. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. But do you really need to run or hide? No, you don't. But you still need to protect your assets because if your money's taken away, your credit's taken away, where does that leave you? Like it's 1776. That's where it leaves you. So, welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. Stop struggling now, gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you so much for being here. Please share the videos because you never know who's out here looking for information. Because once again, it's Stop Struggling Now, the SSN Nation that you're here with, because we want you, ordinary citizens, otherwise known here as OCs, to win and protect yourself. Now, one thing that I'm going to start off with is those of you who want to pass things on to family members, who want to figure out a way that if you're successful, that, your children, your descendants could all have a leg up. Because in case you haven't been paying attention, it's going to cost a lot more money to survive. And if you live in America or in the EU, things are about to get bumpy. And why do I say that? Is because America is the engine of the world, in my opinion, when it comes to financial systems. Financial systems, the EU, America are tied together. The EU, though, gets to stand alone because they are not properties of the United States or states of the United States or territories of the United States, but they are allies. And I put that loosely at the moment. They're going to run their governments accordingly. But no matter where you live, you need to protect yourself. And one of those ways I've been talking about, other bank accounts outside of your country's jurisdiction. So in another country is what I'm trying to say. Think about it. Money in another country outside of your country's jurisdiction is number one on the list. Let's see who's in the house tonight, shall we? Post retirement travel is here. Mr. Worldwide 2 has arrived, an investor outside of America. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. He's here. He understands the assignment. And welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And he brings his tagline this evening. Hello, all. Let's do this. That's what we do here, ladies and gentlemen. We do this. That's why you need your pen, pads, and papers ready, because this one is good going forward for you and your loved ones. Get the children, get the boys and girls, your aunts, your uncles, mom and dad. Make sure they check this out because baby boomers, almost nearly 30% of the population, is leaving trillions of dollars of wealth That's right, when they pass away. So let me start off with a few other things, but let me see who else is in the house. We have Familia in the house, Mr. Compensation, Mr. NJ, Mr. Law of Compensation. He's in the house. Hopefully, everything's going well with you, and welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday. It's the holiday edition, everybody. That's right, Christmas week. Liability week is what I call it. So make sure you think about what you're out here buying because afterwards it's a liability and worthless. Welcome again. His tagline reads SSN family. That's right. He's in the house. And also, post retirement travel, I want to thank you so much for being a member of the channel because we got our memberships back. We got our funding back a few months ago. I can't believe it. The YouTube gods, Google, finally said, we didn't hem them up enough. Guess we'll put them back on the payroll. Funny how they do things. But nonetheless, EV Place, another investor's here. That's right. He's adhering to the same plan outside of America, inside of America, business, real estate, banks accounts. That's what we got, ladies and gentlemen. Protect yourself because you never know what the future is going to bring, especially in the declining empire. And welcome, EV Place, to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday Holiday Edition. And he brings his tagline, Good evening, SSN fam. Let's celebrate all-time high on gold. That's right. We know what's going to happen, right? A little bit of and all-time high on silver. They're rolling because people have finally figured out what we've known all along. That's why you should always have a little bit of it, ladies and gentlemen, because the US dollar and the American experiment is rapidly coming to a close unless there is some change in the next 2 to 3 years. And it's going to have to happen in a year because after that, it's a wrap. All right, I won't get into that tonight because I need you guys to protect yourselves. I need you to protect your assets. I need you to protect your wealth, your money, your identity. Unfortunately, you may not be able to protect your identity, especially if you live in America, because everything is being funneled. Your facial recognition is being funneled. You have gold is up. Mr. Compensation is saying as well, all time highs. That's right. Keep it rocking and rolling. This is part of the plan, right? You were also supposed to always have a little bit of crypto, a little bit of silver, just, even if it's only 3 to 5%, I was happy with that. You didn't have to be like a stacker. You could just, because it's hard to carry if there's something that hits the fan, right? So, but you need a little bit of it. So you got to do it. You got to have some stocks. You got to have a little wealthy, got to have passive income or businesses or a way to make additional streams of revenue. You got to have that going on because nobody's coming to save you, ladies and gentlemen. It's not happening. All right. You just don't get up and have a benefactor waiting in the wings if you fall down. And what's even worse, if you have children, your children is going to be in a situation that you have never been in. Less jobs, less livable wage jobs already spells a problem. Less wealth already spells a problem. And let's get back to the wealth to protect yourself. Because let me just explain what the rich guys and state governments and our federal government count on. They count on one thing and two things that I'm about to talk about. One is you do nothing. You have assets. You treat them like trinkets. You don't care. You pass away. You don't have a will. You don't have a trust. You have nothing in writing, no instructions of any sort. But we'll get into the instruction part. Just sit back for a second. First of all, every state has their own built-in will. If you pass away and don't have a will, your state, whatever your residency of, has it already defined what can happen. And it depends on if you're married or not. Or if you're married, then they say one side of the family, this is different states have different rules. One side of the family, whichever spouse, male and female, will use male, female as they're married. The spouse's family gets, if the spouse passes away, their family, heirs' rights, gets a certain percentage of whatever you two built together, gets a percentage. It doesn't go to the other spouse. Some states, like California, it goes to the other spouse. It goes to the surviving spouse. In other states, like in the South, they make things difficult. And the description I just explained, you and your loved one is married, one of them pass away, people come knocking on the door because the surviving spouse keeps a minimum of in the 30% range, 37% in some southern states. What does that cause? That means the other side of the family spouse can get up to 66%. And guess what? Your house is paid off and you don't have 66% of cash sitting around. So you might say, oh, I got to get a loan. But then you're 70, 80, 90 years old. Getting a loan for something you paid off like 20 years ago. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. So what's going to happen? You're probably going to end up losing it. And heaven forbid, if there's multiple children or something, they might fight. That means you might have to have a lawyer because you're going to have to go to court. Now, let me explain something. Probate is when you have a will. Guess what? People can contest wills and they go through the court system. And guess what? You're still going to be messed up because now you have to spend, let's just say, $5,000 out the box. The lawyer's like, oh, you're in probate. We need $5,000 to start. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. And depending on the estate, they might say 10, they might say 15, depending on what the will says. And then the executor of the estate starts acting funky. Then you have to get yourself a lawyer. And now family members start getting lawyers. Then bills pile up. Now anything that's given could be taken by the courts because you can't pay, redirected by the courts saying, whatever you want to do, we're not going to care because you guys are arguing. Here's the court ruling. Do you understand what you're putting yourself in? And there's $1 trillion, ladies and gentlemen. Just keep that in mind. All right. Here it is, Eric. We're going through that right now here in Florida. My sister-in-law's ex-husband passed away 2 weeks ago and he didn't have a will. Oh my God. He lived in Texas and now his daughters are stressed out. Let's go look at Texas. Wait. Hold on. Is he married? Let's see what Texas rules are. This is a perfect example now that he brought it up. My sister-in-law's ex-husband passed away 2 weeks ago, didn't have a will. Okay, first things first. Let's just go look. Texas, I consider a southern state. Let's see what Texas looks like. Texas. I'm gonna go. The AI is great because it'll tell you straight up if a spouse dies and each spouse has, I'll just say, 2 children. Let's see what happens. You guys can do this yourselves without a will. And each spouse has 2 children. How are assets divided? By the way, if you have insurance and if you have a bank account, you already have your beneficiaries lined up. So that automatically is outside of probate. You don't have to worry about it. All right. So whoever the beneficiaries are, they get their monies, whether it's bank accounts, whether it's insurance, or whether it's anything else. regarding banking or insurance, nobody can stop that, not even probate. That just automatically is outside of the purview of probate court, just so everybody understands. Now, here we go. Up, up, up. I told you the southern states, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, they don't have to be worried. Texas is like the other southern states. They're doing it. I already checked it out. They called that intestate. Intestate. If a spouse dies without a will, they have children with the surviving spouse. The survivor gets all the community property. But look at this: 1/3 of the deceased separate personal property and a life estate, right to use, whatever that means, in 1/3 of separate real estate, with the children getting the rest of the separate property. Okay, notice what I said: 1/3 of deceased separate personal property and a life estate. Which again, I'm not from Texas. I don't know what that means, but again, this right here causes a problem. But here we go. But if any of the deceased children are not from the surviving spouse, the surviving spouse keeps their half of the community property. Here we go. What did I tell you? In Texas, it looks like if you had children, but a lot of people are married once or twice and they have previous children from a previous marriage. In Texas, just what I told you, in southern states, they do this a lot. The wife has to give up her half. Well, not her half. The spouse who passes away, their children get half. I'll just repeat this. The surviving spouse gets their half of community property. So the surviving spouse gets their 50%. But guess what? But the deceased half and all separate property goes to all children, complicating things significantly, often required court for heirship determination. What did I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? They're doing exactly what southern states do to F you up. So hopefully you understand it's just what I described earlier, because another states do the 1/3 thing, which is outrageous. And this thing right here, they do this because they know what's going to happen. The children are going to seek their half of community property, and they're going to have to go to court because now it's in probate court, because the person, either if you had a will, it's going to the probate court. It does not matter. That's why you should not have a will. And not having a will at all is just ridiculous. Either way, if you're trying to help your family, you should have a trust, whether it's revocable at first and then turns into, when you pass away, irrevocable. But you should have it in a trust so you can bypass probate. Now, I got news for you. Even if you have a trust, some people are going to act silly. They're going to be like, I got a problem. I got a problem. I don't get. Guess what? If they're not a trustee, they're out of luck. All right. So I have friends of mine who have a trust. Their mom did just what most parents would do: 2 children, each of them are trustees. The house that's left, one of the children says, I want my portion of the house. So I want to sell it. The other person says, well, see here, mom wanted the house to stay in the family, but did not state it in the trust documents. So the one that wants it sold is taking advantage, obviously. So of course they can. Now that goes to probate because there was a loophole. She did not put it. It's supposed to stay in the family, not to be sold. So now, without the instructions in the trust, they are in probate court, and he's trying to do what you normally do at probate if you want a house to sell. You do my mind's all over. I can't remember. I used to tell you guys all the time. But anyhow, you go to court, and court will a partition. I'm sorry, partition. The court will make the house be sold, and again, that could cost you 5 to 10 grand additional on top of the 5 grand or 10 grand that they cost you. Now it's going to cost you more money to get the partition done. Force sale, and then it's split amongst everybody evenly. Simple, but that's going to be done. That's what her brother's next move is, and that's what's going to happen in January. The court is going to decide if what they're going to do. But again, making it in the hands of the court is a bad idea, and making it in the hands of a state is a bad idea. And if they're in Texas, again, post-retirement travel, if the children are by the surviving spouse, then it looks like fine, they get a third of something. But if the children are from a previous marriage, then they get 50%. It looks like half of all separate property goes to all children, complicating things significantly. That is very, very true. So it depends on which side of the fence that they're on. Okay, separate property is before marriage. All right, just so everybody understands. And by the way, this is something that you guys have to think about. In most southern states, again, I mean, they're probably in northern states too. I just never checked all 50. But either way, you guys are getting a dichotomy of how things could work if you don't have a will or if you do have a will. Now, here's another thing that you guys better pay attention to going forward. There's such a thing as a gift tax, inheritance tax. All right. So let's say I passed away, or before I passed away, it doesn't really matter. And I gave my children as a gift. I'm married, but I gave my children as a gift. Okay, some people would say, well, there's a gift tax. Yes, but we're going to we have up to, I believe, $12 million that you can give over your lifetime. Right now, it might be 15 million, but that you can give out over your lifetime in gifts, and neither party is going to have to pay tax. You don't call it a gift. Here's the thing. That gift is separate property to the kids. How about that? I know, ladies and gentlemen, estate planning 101. Is that sick or what? So here's the thing. I'll use real estate. So you guys, this will be very, very easy. Husband and wife is married. All right. The husband gets his own separate property, or married, they have a property, she signs off. Okay. He gifts it to his children. He passes away. The wife obviously does not have anything to do with this because it's separate property. Doesn't have to pay tax because he's gifting it. And on both sides of the fence, that doesn't meet the $12 million lifetime exemption. The wife can't come back and claim anything. All right. Nor can anybody else, by the way. Separate property. Just keep that in mind. Okay. Texas law dictates asset division when there's no will. Again, here we go. They're giving me scenarios. All children are from both spouses. Here we go. You know what? Check this out. I'm going to put this right down in the chat room. How sweet is that? Let's go. Let's go. Check this out. Yeah, you guys, you have to tell your parents to get everything in order. I'm telling you, if they're married, if they have extra children running around. I mean, it's not like that. All I'm trying to say is some people get married and then they have children and then they get divorced and then they have children with their next wife or husband. So now what people don't realize is the previous children could still have part of community property that has been built up. So just remember that. I put the first thing that can happen, and here's the second. Here's the scenario number 2 are some children are not from the surviving spouse blended family. Yeah, this is crazy. They're saying the survivor gets one third. Yeah, they're doing it like the other southern states. I didn't realize this. Keeps their half. The deceased half goes to all their children, yours and the step. Oh, this is Texas is even. Oh, Texas is hardcore. So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, Texas does it like this for number two. I'm going to put it in the chat room. This is sick. This is diabolical, if you ask me. This is why I say protect yourselves. You have to. You can't leave it up to the courts or the state. This is out of line, out of pocket. Listen to this one. This is the one I was talking about before. You Some children are not from the surviving spouse. So let's say a person has two children that was from previous marriage. Then they marry somebody else. They have two children. This is so diabolical. Look at this community property. Survivor keeps half. Remember, there's four children. The deceased half goes to all their children, yours and the stepchildren. So the deceased half gets split four ways in our example. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Four ways. That's diabolical. Diabolical. Actually, maybe even kind of fair now that you think about it. All right, because he's the deceased, the surviving, the deceased spouse. They are two previous children, and now two children with his new spouse. So I guess that's kind of fair, but it's still diabolical. But look at this: separate property, same as above. Survivor gets one third personal life estate, and I don't know what this means. Children get the rest of the separate property. Wow. Wow. These guys are diabolical. Not all states do this with separate property, but again, you put yourself into the court system in probate, didn't have a will at all. And by the way, even if you did have a will, these same kind of things can happen because people can actually contest and people, and then you have to come to some sort of settlement because you don't get to keep 100%. You have, like in this, survivor gets one third personal or life estate or whatever. Good God. Oh my, this is bad. This is bad. Okay, so like we were saying though, for the Texas situation, post-retirement travel, here's number two. The kids are going to have something. It just depends on which camp they fall under. All right, it's that simple. If it's on the first, either way, the kids are getting something. It's a southern state. That's how they do things. They don't. This doesn't stop as community property, and only gets shared with the spouse. Gets the surviving spouse gets to keep everything. Not sorry. They like to do this because they know people don't have the 20, 30, 40 grand to fight each other. And then they know from there the lawyers are going to be going, okay, I'll work. You can pay me later out of what you get. Next thing you know, they have a lien on your whatever. Now you're forced to sell everybody's ass out. Um, so again, that is crazy. The key factor is a judge legally determines who the heirs are, a crucial step in the cases. Man, uh, dying without a will in Texas, especially with blended families, often means the surviving spouse doesn't get everything. Of course not. And court involvement, probate, is necessary to sort out complex heirship rules. See, ladies and gentlemen, this is why you're going to have to protect your wealth, protect yourself, protect your loved ones by not going through any probate. Do not have a will. Do not have no will at all. That's just ridiculous. Now at least in a will, you can say whatever you want goes to whoever you want, which is actually better than what the state's going to do. But you still are going to have to go through probate, and it's going to cost you 5 to 10 grand just to say hello and show up in court for probate. And then if you have co-executors, like what happened in my family, and you don't see eye to eye, now what? We got problems. So now we got to get attorneys, right? Same thing. Does not help the situation. All right. So there you go. Now, I saw something about Jersey. Isn't Jersey like community property straight across? Let's see what Jersey says. All right. Hopefully, you see the kids are going to get something. We just don't know. Oh man, Jersey's look at. Well, hold on. Let's see. Here's Jersey. New Jersey, if a spouse dies without a will, intestate, and they have children only from that marriage, the surviving spouse inherits the entire estate. Simple, simple. No separation for the children, no heirs' rights in Jersey. Makes sense. But here we go. But if the deceased had children from a prior marriage or relationship, not the surviving spouses, the estate splits with the spouse getting the first 50,000 plus half the balance and the children sharing the rest, meaning your situation, two kids each, shared marriage results in surviving spouse getting everything. Two kids each, shared marriage results in surviving. This is confusing. I can't make heads or tails out of this right now. But if the deceased had children from a private marriage, not okay, the estate splits. Oh, are we serious right now? This says the estate splits. Oh, wow. So this is like Texas almost, only better maybe, because this says it splits with the spouse getting the first 50,000 plus half the balance. So the spouse gets 50,000. Okay. So basically it appears the children get the deceased the children of the deceased who are by different mother or father, they get half, and the spouse gets 50%. Wow. I'll put it down here, ladies and gentlemen. This is crazy. That's real crazy. It looks like they get 50%. But hold on now. Then they have something else. The children sharing the rest, meaning this your situation, two kids each, shared marriage results in the surviving spouse getting everything. That's interesting. That's a little confusing. That looks like we're going to probate court. Sheesh, no will, probate. That means spending money. And if you don't have the money, you're screwed because the one that has the money is going to go to court. Okay, let's go look at this. Since all children, your two and your spouse's two, are from your shared marriage, New Jersey law considers them common descendants. Surviving spouse gets all. In this specific situation, spouse plus common children, the surviving spouse receives 100% of the estate. Oh, that's what they mean. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. This is pretty simple. Okay, so in New Jersey, if you're married, you have children from a previous marriage. No, no, no. Hold on. Spouse plus common children. Okay, it's very simple. Jersey is just like Cali. If you're married, you have two children that were by each spouse, you and the spouse, then they get 100% of the estate. There's none of this hand me down stuff. But if there were children from only the deceased prior relationship, not yours, the surviving spouse gets the first 50% or up to 200,000. Oh my God. This is crazy. This is why you need okay. Don't do a will, just do a trust. But then again, the trust is kind of, don't worry. We're going to get there, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on. I'm going to do this. Here we go. Here we go. Key takeaway. While you might want assets to go to your separate children, without a will, New Jersey law prioritizes the surviving spouse when children are common to both, making a proper estate plan crucial for blended families. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's not good, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. All right. So we're gonna find out. I just there you go. Post Mr. Compensation. There's Jersey, man. He never married again, but had another child that is currently under 18. The lawyers have called charge between 5K and 7K. As I told you. Yep, 5 to 10K, man. That's exactly right. I try to tell people this, and that's just down payment. And the effed up part is that's just down payment, because if they have to go to court, all of a sudden they're going to say, well, if I got to do this, it's going to cost you another 2,500. If I got to do this, it's going to cost you another 5 grand. If you want to fight this, it's basically going to cost you another 2,500 to 5 grand. That's why you have to make a. That's why you have to make a deal with the attorneys if you know what you're going to have to do, right? So, like for me, I made a deal with them and I said, okay, I got to give you like 5 grand. Yep. What if this happens? Oh, that'll be another 5 grand. I said, hold up, man. Hold up. So we made a deal. He says the next thing, if that happens, then I'll charge you half, 2,500. So it would have been 7,500 total, right? But you better make a deal out front, because you might go through another thing like a partition where you got a forced sale. So then how much is that going to cost? You'll say, okay, that much. You want to say, no, man, let's do it this way. Because otherwise it's 5 grand to 10 grand for each step if you don't know the steps. All right. He never married again, but what? Wait, what? Okay. So, yeah, in Texas, he has no will. The kid's going to be, he's entitled to something. In Texas, he's going to be entitled to something. I don't know if what you're saying is that he is or was married and had another child, but it's not their child. That in Texas means you got something coming. And it appears that in Jersey, he's got something coming too. Because in Jersey, if there were children from only the deceased prior relationship, not yours, the spouse gets up to $200,000 and the child would get half of the remaining estate. The other half of the remainder is split equally among the deceased children. So he would get the other half if there's one kid, if it was in Jersey. Or if there's two kids and they're going to split their half. Again, this is without a will, ladies and gentlemen. But now you understand why people would say, how did these people lose all their stuff when they were rich? So oftentimes it's because they didn't have a will. And they got married 2 or 3 times and had 2 or 3 different children by different women. And so this is what happens. No planning. You got to protect yourself, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Hopefully that gets it down. Okay, Yieldmax ETF wallet is doing it again. 16% increase the past month. This time is based on PLTY. We knew PLTY is going to rise. We knew it's going to rise because they are a preferred company with the United States. They get subsidies. They get government contracts. They're Elon Musk, Peter Thiel. All these guys are buddies. They're buddies with the MAGA and Trump administration. So they all get government contracts. They all get subsidies. They all get free money. They all get special treatment. So they're able to get monies out of thin air. They're not an ordinary company. Just like PLTY, uh, uh, yep, yep, PLTY, man. That's the way to go. Eric, he was unmarried, living alone. He had 3 children. Okay. What? Oh, he was never married? Well, if he was never married and had 3 children, then all 3 children. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let's do something else because we're going with married. What happens if he's never married? I think they're all 3 going to have to split the estate. I think if he doesn't have a spouse right now when he passed away, and he had 3 children, it doesn't matter who the mother is. The children are all entitled in Texas. I am sure of this. Let me change this to Texas. I'm pretty sure because they're an heirs state. So and other states would be the same way. I'm pretty sure. Um, if a person dies without a will and has 3 children, has 3 children, 3 children. One is under 18, and the other 2 are over. However, I'm pretty sure it's divided by all 3. Most states are like that. Most states yeah. In Texas, if an unmarried person with 3 children dies without a will intestate, all assets are divided equally 1/3 among the 3 children, regardless of age. But the minor's share will be managed by, oh God, a court appointed guardian or trustee until they turn 18. Often in a trust for their health, education, and support, as minors can't legally own property directly. That is very true. No spouse, children inherit. You know what, though? In some states, no, in almost all states, actually, I was just thinking, parents, if the person who passed away had no will, this is what happened with my brother. Doesn't have a child, didn't have children, didn't have a spouse. The surviving parent gets their assets. All right. He didn't have a will either. After I told him about all the things I'm telling you guys, get a trust, get a will. I don't really care, but I said, get a trust. I'll sit down. You can write something up. You don't have any children. So just who do you want stuff to go to? Write it up, notarize it, done. No. Now, probate. He had the easiest thing of all. Even a will would have been better because there'd have been nobody to contest it. But anyhow, yeah, this is very simple. So nobody should be worrying about anything. All 3 get their 1/3 each. This is the easiest one of all, except the problem is the guy under 18 or the child under 18, he has, as you just read, there you can't hold assets. So court appointed, they're going to set him up in a trust. And I don't know how they're going to do that trust. If it's court appointed, he's under 18, maybe they'll do it carte blanche, but it's going to be straightforward because they're going to have a trustee and they're probably going to assign the court as the trustee. So now, up until he's 18, they're going to handle his dole out whatever the trust, if there's any money, which there's going to be, because if they do a third split, if there's a house or anything, whatever he has, it's going to be split a third, and they'll probably sell it, I believe. Um, and then everybody splits it. That's probably what's going to end up happening because they're going to do a partition. Nobody's going to get to say, well, I get the house. There's probably going to be a partition. So unless there was some actual monies, so somebody could offset the monies where they say, let's just say he has a $400,000 house, and let's say he had 400,000, then they could say, okay, a third. So you want the house, so you have to give up. You don't get a third of the money, so that third of the money is going to be split between the other two. Your third of the money, right? So that would offset it potentially, right? I don't know exactly how they'll do it, but all I'm saying is he's going to have a trust. And so he's going to have hymns, ladies and gentlemen, is health, education, maintenance, and support. So this is what happens if you have a trust and you have children or beneficiaries, because it's not children. Your children would be beneficiaries. So then what you do is you tell your, in your trust, you give directions and you say, trustees, either you can set an amount or you can set to where the trustee has discretion for the health, education, maintenance, and support. So that's why you see in movies, part of this stuff is true, where a person who has they're a trust fund kid and they go see the trustee and they walk in and say, hey man, I'm trying to buy or trying to move into a place. I want to get a car. Can you allow me to get a car? Well, or move into a place or whatever. And that's part of this health, education, maintenance, and support, and could pay for their apartment or a home if however the trust is allowed to do. That is part of it. Most trusts should have this hymns, just so you guys understand, for your beneficiaries. You can leave it to where the trustee has discretion. That's what you see in the movies. That's why the person has to come up and ask them to, hey, I want to start a business. Can I get a loan, or can I get some money to start the business? Or I want to buy a house. Can I get some money from my trust? That's what that's all about. Because the trustee is supposed to do what the trust says, but they always have discretion. They don't have to give you anything, which is the other part. That's why whoever the trustee is the most important. All right. If you, in your lifetime, if you can trust them, but you have to have a succession. If you pass away or trustee passes away, then who's going to take their place? And oftentimes people settle on court appointed or a company that does this for a living. It could even be a law firm. But again, it's not out, they're going to go by the rules of the trust. Okay. Uh, Yeah, the two adult children will receive their shares directly. That is correct. Though they may need to go through probate to formalize the transfer of assets. Yes, not maybe. They have to. The court is the only one that can do the transfer of assets. So I don't know why they're saying using the word may need. If there's no will, you have to. It's going to be a state scenario. So that means you're automatically in probate. You can't just transfer title when you don't own something. Without a will, Texas law, the intestate succession laws in the estates code dictates an equal split among children, but practical steps, guardianship, trust are needed to manage the minor's portion. Yeah, that's very simple. So, with all things considered, since he doesn't have a spouse, then all three children split everything three ways. It's cut and dry. The only problem is, was he did he leave his kids like 10 G's? I'm like, did he leave them 10 G's each so they can fight it in probate? Because that's where this goes. It goes to probate. So that's the problem. So we're out here trying to protect you, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, just so you guys know, you guys can sign up with ChatGPT. It's very, very good. Pay $25 per month or whatever. You can put in and formalize some way. If you say, I want to set up a trust, you can actually go through step by step, get an outline, and then put in the state you're in and make sure it meets state and federal laws. And ChatGPT will draft something for you. All right. Just so you guys understand, a trust, because you do not want anything in the hands of the court and you want to spell out everything. Again, friends of ours, their mother said, I was present with their mom several occasions where their mother said, while we're at parties and all this, and be like, yeah, because her mom had cancer. And then she would be planning ahead, even though this was like 20 years ago or 15 years ago. She survived, But she said even back then, she would be like, you know what, that house that I have, I just want the family to be able to always have it in the family. And then everybody would go, well, not everybody, but a few of us would be like, okay, go get a trust. So she got a trust. So we're thinking, oh, it's in the trust. Obviously, she said it three to five times. I've heard it. Never mind whatever she said to other people. So everybody knew. And then she passes away. Then we find out the house wasn't paid off free and clear. So all you can do is transfer a deed to your trust. The loan is still with the bank. So that means you don't have title, which kind of has something to do with this too. So now you decide, her mom, the mother decided, I'm going to have the two children co-executors, never thinking what happens if they don't agree. She assumed that because she told both of them, I want to keep it in the family, she assumed that they would be like, okay, we'll just keep it in the family. It'll always be sitting there. Little did she know, no, one of them decided, nah, I need a few hundred G's. So I want to sell the house. And then the other one saying, no, you know, mom never wanted to do that. And so, of course, everybody's like in shock because everybody knows what mom wanted to do, but they're all in shock that she didn't put it in the trust. A big faux pas. And they're in court right now. That's right. Spending, I would say one has spent 5 G's, another one has spent about 10 to 15 G's. And you can guess because one is wanting to do the partition, so he has to spend 10 to 15 G's to make that happen. And there is nothing the other trustee can do. Just saying. Because you can force a sale, whether it's under a probate scenario, which now this trust is now in probate because their mom didn't write a simple line in the trust. Keep it in the family, never sell the house. That's all she had to write in there. Then this would be a moot point. And by the way, the other thing that people don't realize is um, even though the loan is in their mother's name, she's deceased, the bank says, okay, no problem. We'll let you keep making the payments. As long as you make the payments and everything, we're good. They did not force a sale, did not say, I'm sorry, nothing. One of the reasons is because that deed they put in the trust. And the trustees and beneficiaries are on the trust. So now they can talk to the bank. They can say, what's up? They can say, and that's why the bank said, no worries. Just keep making payments. We'll deal with this down the line. Everything's fine. And down the line means you could actually get refied, do whatever, right? But the problem is one side said, I'm not going to give you no down the line because I want money. So I'm going to force you to sell it. There is no down the line. Now, the other person, if they had a few $100,000, they would have to buy it and then give the other person their share, which is one hell of an option that should have never happened, which is very sad. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. Now you understand, protect yourself. His assets include a house, a car, savings, and a 401k. Okay, who's the beneficiary? Um, that is correct. They're divorced. She can't do jack. So here's the first thing. The savings account is from the bank. Who's the beneficiary? The beneficiary is on the savings account. If there's no beneficiary on the savings account, then the court's going to split that 3 ways. 401k, who's the beneficiary? Once again, first of all, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a beneficiary. And you know what's messed up? It could even be the ex-wife because a person never changed it. That's what's messed up. I've seen that happen to friends before too. They have 401ks. They got divorced, not thinking nothing about who the beneficiary is on their 401k. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. They passed away. Now the kids are like, family members are like, wait, he always told us he has his 401k, said it was with Merrill Lynch or whatever. And then come to find out, they're like, he's the beneficiary is still his wife from 25 years ago. And there ain't a damn thing they can do. But anyhow, the 401k, that's going to have a beneficiary on it as well, which is not going to be under the jurisdiction of the court, or shouldn't be. The car, now, see, the car, if it's in, well, I guess it's not in the daughter's name then. Yeah, if the car was in somebody else, both person, dad, and the let's say two girls and the son, one of them, then that other person gets the car. The house, if it's only in his name, then they splitting it three ways. If it's the car and no, and only his name's on it, they're splitting it three ways. This thing about when you're married and putting things only in your name, or not married, if you're not married and you don't put somebody else's name on your stuff, that is a big mistake. Huge. My mother made that mistake years. Can you imagine talking to your mother in 1985, 89, and telling her, she goes, watch out for your brother, make sure he's all taken care of. And I say, Mom, you got a house. Why don't you just give it to him? And she'd be like, yeah, I do. I want to give it to him. I said, well, then add his name on as joint tenants with right of survivorship. So if anything happens to either one of you, you don't have to go through probate and it transfers automatically to the other person. Nothing happens. She didn't do it. After years after year after year saying the same thing, just add his name. She's like, well, what do you, I don't care. I don't care about the house. It's your thing. You guys earned it. You bought it. You can go to whoever you wanted to go to. I don't have no hard feelings about it. Parents should always be able to give their children whatever they want. The other children, you can bitch and moan, but if your parents want to give something that they earned their money for to whoever, then you can't bitch. You know, that's the way I look at it. So I can't bitch. So, but she never did. So obviously, when she passed away, I'm sitting there like, okay, so where's her trust, or where's her? Because I told her about a trust too. Where's her trust, or where's her? Because she went to the military to. She said she went to legal on base. So I thought that she got a trust. Come to find out, she got a will. And because there's three children, one child tried to stop what the will says and also was a co-executor. Yeah, talk about a bad situation. So again, money unfortunately averted. By the way, post-retirement travel, I got to give you something. In the southern states, oftentimes, if there's no agreement on probate, they have a service. Probate has a service that you can have a intermediary from the probate office, a person that's a lawyer, that's none of your lawyers, and then he takes the case. Doesn't cost anybody anything, but he will take. See, the problem is he gets a percentage of the. Well, no, not the savings, not the beneficiary. He's going to get any cash, which, by the way, I can. Yeah, savings. I don't think so. He can get any cash, not in savings, but I mean, he can get some cash somehow. The car, he would sell the car to get some money. If people didn't have any money, right? He would sell the car, whether it's 10 G's, 5 G's, 3 G's, it doesn't really matter because that'll be court cost or whatever. And he'll get a little bit of that. But in this case, if this is all he has, 401k goes to somebody, savings account goes to somebody, whoever the beneficiary is. The car is going to be sold in probate, split amongst the heirs. The house sold, split amongst the heirs. I mean, that's what's going to happen. Um, and by the way, the savings and the 401k, if the father put the beneficiary as one of the kids, that one child gets all the stuff in the 401k. If he put savings, one child, that has nothing to do with probate. They're going to be the beneficiary. He gets all. They get all the money. There's none of this. There was a 500,000 in the 401k. There was 200,000 in savings. We all get an equal share. Not going to happen. Beneficiary, whoever they are, gets all of that. The house, that's split three ways. The car, that's split three ways. But if you go with the, like I said, in southern states, they do have a probate office free because we can't agree. And as long as the other side says we can't agree and everybody goes, we can't agree, we'll just go to a neutral party, then they'll do it. Doesn't cost anybody any money out of pocket after the initial, maybe you wanted a lawyer, but you don't even need a lawyer for that. If you're in court, go to court and say, hey, I need a neutral party if your state does it. In fact, let's go with Texas. Um, let's go look. I bet they do because, yes, yes, Texas families can absolutely request a mediator lawyer for probate disputes, as mediation is a common, effective, often required method to resolve disagreements over wills, asset distributions. Yeah, that's what happens. Now, I don't know if they do it at no charge in uh, Texas. Me and my family, because me and my sister couldn't get along, because she was trying to basically try to stop what the will said, trying to do all kind of shady stuff. She agreed, so we had a neutral party. And again, say in fact, it's similar to this. The car got sold. All right, so then they split. They took some cut, like 3% or 5%. The lawyer did, and then he split the rest three, cut checks. If the house would have came out like how my sister was trying to do it, then the house would have been sold and split amongst us three. But because of some shady shenanigans, the mediator transferred the house to my brother. Because once he found out that my sister stole a lot of stuff, he was like, "Nah, I'll just." The will says give it to your brother, so I ain't holding this up. I'll just transfer it. So that's how it worked in Georgia. So anyhow, just know that they do have certified mediators, and you just go to court and you just tell them, hey, we can't agree. If there's such a thing as not agree, I don't know why somebody would disagree. If there's a house, a car, whatever, the house is going to be split. There's no way around it. So if my mother did not have a will, the house would have been split amongst us three. It would have been for sale. There would have been no choices, right? If her will didn't say anything like, because there's parts of her will that says everything split three ways, right? So, but the house was specific. Oh, but there's another house. So then that house was split three ways. Nobody could stop it because the court, that's what the will says. But if there was no will, it was still going to be split three ways in this case. So, because she wasn't married to, didn't have a spouse or anything either. So, uh, that's how it works. It's not that hard. It only gets hard when people leave them, they have family members and they leave them hanging. Protect yourself, ladies and gentlemen. I think I already saw this one, right? Yeah, exactly. Post retirement, it's going to go down like that. Yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward. There's no spouse, so it's even easier. Everything's going to be split three ways. Okay. His two adult daughters are from my sister in law, and both are here in Florida, and his son is with a woman in Texas he never married. Why you say sister? Are from my sister. Is this your, is this is not your brother, right? Sister-in-law. But wait, you keep saying sister-in-law. Why does that matter? You keep saying sister-in-law, but you said he's not married. Okay, okay, forget that part. Let's just say he never married. This okay, what's the sister-in-law though if he's not married? If he's married, wait, okay, is the property in Texas or is it in Florida? That's the other thing, because then you'd have to go by Florida rules. Doesn't matter about residency in this case. It matters where the jurisdiction is, and if the property's in Texas, then first of all, you got to explain the sister-in-law part because you said he's not married. So if he's not married, then you keep saying sister-in-law though. So you're gonna have to get that one right for us. Then we can go further. Okay, here we go. MDA0214. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream, the holiday edition. And MDA, we're trying to protect people out here. Plenty of ways to pass down wealth tax free. One is through okay, and another is through a Roth. No, yeah, because again, I agree with what you're saying, but you do understand. Again, MDA0214. You're talking about people that's going to spend the money to create a foundation, a legal foundation. That's an operating foundation, which means there's forms to fill out. There's tax forms to fill out. And a Roth IRA is going to have a beneficiary. So you can, yeah, that's simple enough. You are right about that. The foundation also, it's tricky rules, so you have to check those out. Depends on what state and how the foundation was set up. Again, there's strict rules. Eric, just for your information, all military base legal office offer free will services to retirees and dependents. I am going to MacDill Air Force Base in Tampa this week. Yeah, again, I don't recommend doing a will. I'm gonna tell you straight up. Um, you can check MacDill, but see if they do a trust. But at base in Georgia, they didn't do a trust. So it's my wife's sister. Oh, okay, but okay. Well, then he never married her. Then okay, that's good. So that means they're all in the same boat. All three children get a third of his house, a third of the car, and there's no reason to spend money. I don't know what anybody's going to disagree with unless somebody lives in the house. But if they live in the house, it doesn't really matter. They have no ownership of it. And if he was living with somebody else, I don't even think that's going to matter because that the children are going to override that. I mean, we can always look, but I don't see how that would. I don't see how that would even be a thing. That would be crazy. Uh, uh, okay. Yeah, I don't even think that's a thing. Yeah, let's see something. Let's see something. Gosh, they're all the same line of kinship. The unmarried mother, yeah, the unmarried mother of the deceased person gets nothing unless all children also pass away in Texas. Yeesh. But that's not the case here. Yeah, so even if he the mother of the son, even if something happens, or the sister-in-law, they're not married, so no, the kids get a third. So each, the two children in Florida gets a third each, and this person, the son in Texas, gets a third each. I think this is pretty cut and dry. Yeah, since there's no spouse and the deceased had children, the children inherit everything according to Texas Estates Code. Yeah, I mean this is pretty cut and dry. There's nothing to really do other than show up in court. I mean, that seems that seems like the only, you just got to show up in court and say, "Hey, my dad, I showed up here, and we understand he doesn't have a will, and I guess everything's going to be split three ways." There's nothing to even argue about in this case. I mean, sure, somebody can argue. People do that crazy nonsense, but in this case, this is pretty cut and dry. But they got to show up in court. I mean, they don't even. I don't even know if they need a lawyer. Really, this is cut and dry. He didn't have a will. He's got assets. They're split three ways. Not married. Pretty cut and dry. And again, my brother didn't have any children. So in southern states and a lot of states, it goes to the surviving parents. So, and then, uh, yeah, this is pretty cut and dry. I don't see how anybody has a, there's nothing anybody can do. You're gonna waste money going to court to deal with this because this is just straight up cut and dry. No problem. No problem for either party. None of the children is going to have an issue. All his assets are in Texas. Yeah, he was married to my wife's sister for 12 years and they got divorced 10 years ago. She moved to Florida, two daughters, and he stayed in Texas. Yeah, they're entitled to a third. Each child is entitled to a third. So since they're sisters or brothers or whatever, to whatever the siblings are, they get, in essence, two thirds, and the other one in Texas gets one third, if you want to break it down like that. So, I mean, if whatever, that's fair. That's more than fair. I feel. I don't know, you know. That's how it works. That's how it works. No problem. No problem. I think it's cut and dry. It's just you got to show up in court or have the representative show up in court for you. Something. You can't just be and stay in Florida. So again, and just so you know, you can do it long distance. It's just that you're gonna have to come out of pocket. Usually $5,000. Texas might be cheaper, sometimes it's cheaper, but you can also have the mediator for free. Um, let me see. Let me see what you call it. And I wish I could remember the name, the official name. Let me see if I can get one. No, it's not conflict mediator. No, no, no. Uh, well, they're calling them mediators. That's not what they call it in every state. It's not really. I don't want to. I hate to use the word mediation, but um, that's not really the name I'm trying to. That's not the name. Hmm. Um, I don't want to say mediator like you go sit down and chit chat. That's not what I'm trying to say. Um, ah, let me see what the. I wish I could remember the official name. You know what? Yeah, let me see if I can get the name. I should go look it up. Go get my emails. Um, yeah, that's kind of wild. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is all about protecting yourself tonight. County administrator. That's what they call it in some other jurisdictions, not a county administrator. All right. Just so you know, that's why I didn't like mediator, because normally mediation means you go sit down, chit chat, and all that. No, county administrator is what they call it in another state. All right. And they basically do everything that the will says, or what this, in this case, the state will would said. In fact, I'm pretty sure the court's just going to be like, I mean, I don't see how this is hard. There would have to be something else for this to be hard. There would have to be like a spouse or somebody else claiming to be a child. I mean, this is pretty cut and dry with no will. He could have made it a lot more cut and dry, but I mean, for this particular case, it's cut and dry. This isn't very hard. Just matters on the money part, if there's going to be needed, if the money's needed for probate. All right, let's get back to the program at hand. Protect your assets, ladies and gentlemen. So this discussion tonight, just by itself, should tell you what you need to do. There's people watching this, and you guys are being stubborn. You don't want to get a will, that's for sure. But that's better than leaving it up to the state. So I guess get a will. But if you really want to do things right, then get a trust. Now, there's different trust ways you can do things, but it all depends. If you're still alive, you can have a revocable trust. But the thing is, the revocable trust is still your thing. So if you get in a car accident, have a court case, lose a court case, then your assets are still on the table. All right. Now, the other side is equally somewhat risky, is you have an irrevocable trust while you're still alive. You have to appoint a trustee. That's why you have to put the rules in place. And that is supposed to keep the trustees doing the right thing. But, when money's involved, assets are involved, trustees sometimes don't do the right thing. So you have to put things in there for succession. If something happens, the trustees die, what happens? Or if there's a dispute, what happens amongst beneficiaries or the trustee? You got to have all that in there. If you leave it open, like the mother did for the two oldest children, left it open ended, now all of a sudden they're in court when they shouldn't have been, because she didn't put in one sentence that she's been telling people about for the last 15 years, at least, maybe even the last 20 years. It's just crazy. All right. Now, what else can we get into, ladies and gentlemen? Because you got to protect your wealth, right? Let's get on with something else. By the way, if you're watching this and I put some links down below in the chat room, just keep in mind, if you're on mobile and you can't see the live chat, go down to the comment section, swipe right, I believe. Then it'll come up and ask you a question. You'll see some dots. When you go up to the first comment in the comment section, you'll see 3 dots to the right. Hopefully you see 4. 4 probably, that's when it indicates when you swipe, it'll say live. If you want a live, then you tap on it so the live chat comes up on replay. All right? It's that simple. Now, let's get down to the other business in hand, because we're talking about credit, we're talking about debt, we're talking about wealth. Listen here, right here in this chat room. Yes, I got you, man. I'm in the email section right now. We got more recalls. I can't believe it. This is outrageous. Well, we knew this was going to happen. Pillsbury brand pizza pops pepperoni bacon recalled due to E. coli. Oh my God, man. Well, this isn't going to end. We told you guys, when there's a government regime that comes in and says we don't care about USDA, we don't care about FDA, we don't care about CDC, we don't care about none of that. We're going to cut back because we want to save money so we can rape and pillage the country. That's what's happening. So this right here was already known. That's why you guys have to worry about what you eat, where you're sourcing your foods from, because it's sold in a grocery store. The grocery store's job is not to check food. There's nobody sitting there with scanners, with some devices that can check to see if there's some tainted food. Okay? It's packaged up from a trusted source, except now the trusted source can actually cut corners. All right? This is no surprise. So anyhow, findhelp.org is out here, ladies and gentlemen. If you want a little help, go see findhelp.org, put in your zip code in the United States. There's a myriad of people, nonprofits that can help you. Some are free, some cost a little bit of money, but that's why you make the phone calls. All right. We're talking about job training. We're talking about caregiving. We're talking about mental health. We're talking about transportation. We're talking about down payments on a car or house, or maintenance for a car, or maintenance on a house. I mean, it's all there. It's a lot. Okay. Subway tokens, bus tokens, whatever. There's plenty of nonprofits to help you in America. One of your other keys, you need great credit, 775 and up. I was going to post something. Oh man, I was going to try and give you guys something, because there was you know what? Let me see if I can pull this up. Oh god dog it. I can't. I can't pull it up because my phone went dead while well, maybe it's still in my phone. There was people talking about exactly what I've been talking about. Data centers came up. And there were some guys that agreed with what I was saying about data centers. You shouldn't want them in your city because the water is going to be sucked up. The energy is going to be subsidized, where you're going to be paying part of their energy bill. That's why your energy bill is going to go up. And then they're only going to employ less than 100 people. Meanwhile, it takes a few thousand to build it. And so it appears to be all these jobs, when in fact, after they're done, it's all bye-bye. And now you're paying for something that's sucking the electricity out and doing all kind of crazy, right? So the guys were talking about the other factor. And before I get into that, the other factor is money ladder, ladies and gentlemen. Get your debt resolution. Tracy, TRACY .sharpe, SHARPE at moneyladder.com. That's why you keep those pen pads and papers, because she can help you get your debt correct without filing bankruptcy, without falling further behind and having debt showing up on your credit report as a negative. All of that can be turned around in a year to 2 years. You need to call her now. All right. Tracy.sharpe at moneyladder.com, and Sharp has an E at the end. All right. I almost remember what I was going to say. I forgot though. All right. So now I'm going to have to skip the part I was going to tell you guys about. All right, here we go. DHS increases offer for undocumented migrants to $3,000 if they voluntarily leave by the end of 2025. What is this? Okay, this just drives me crazy right now. Let me ask you guys something. If I come to America, or forget America, I come into another country, I seek asylum. That's one. Hey, man, my country is bombing me. This country, Israel's bombing me. I need safety. Do you mind? I need asylum over here. They say yes. Okay, here's your papers. It's okay for you to be here, but you're going to have a court date 5-6 months from now. You got to show up. Welcome to USA or whatever country, XYZ. Another immigrant. I roll up. Hey, man, I just came from a country. I want to be. I want to contribute to this country. I want to stay here for a little while. Uh, is it all right? Sure. Let's see your ID. Let's see what's happening. All right. So you want some work permit? You want a visa? What are you trying to do? Green cards? Okay, no worry. You got a court date in 3 months. You're good. Here's some papers. You're good. All right. But you're going to have to check in every month at the immigration office. Okay? If you don't check in every month, then we're hunting for you and we're going to deport you. All right? Okay. Cool. Okay. Now, imagine the second person goes to the immigration office. He shows up as instructed, and all of a sudden somebody says, "Hey, you're illegal. You're undocumented." No, man, I'm sitting here at the immigration office. What are you talking about right now? What are you doing? Oh, we're taking you to a detention facility and we're going to deport you. What do you mean? I have paperwork. It says it's okay. And then the other guy, 4 or 5 months go by, he shows up in court. Hey, I'm here for my immigration hearing. And the judge, because he's under this government regime, goes, I'm dismissing your case. Hey, wait a minute. What do you mean? They told me 4 or 5 months ago that, okay, I get to possibly have asylum. I somewhat am good with it. I'm dismissing your case. I don't really give a damn. ICE is outside arresting them. Are they undocumented? I don't think so. And by the way, how is somebody undocumented when you go to somebody's job site and the dudes are working for a company that's an American company? So how are these guys undocumented? Are you telling me that this company is sitting there saying all their profit? They don't have any employee expenses? But let's say they don't. So now you're employing people without documentation and they're not going to jail. The people that are employing them illegally because they're undocumented. Why aren't they going to jail? See, this is why I have a problem. Big problem. Because our system is doing something that's bad. It's basically Nazi style, and that's a problem. All right, let's get back into it. I don't want to see undocumented or illegal and all this BS. How's somebody illegal? That's crazy right now. And by the way, it's I can come to America, cross the border, and it's a misdemeanor the first time. So again, America is somewhat of an open country because we're a nation of immigrants, and it used to be we allowed everybody to come anyhow. Turning these people who walk 1,000 miles or 500 miles or 2,000 miles into bad people when American history better look at the European bad people, everything they've done for the last 400 years and continue to do. And they got nerve to talk about somebody else's bad people. This is craziness. I'm on it now. Here we go. I shouldn't get into it because you know what that means. Harmful rhetoric. That means we'll be cut off again from any monetary gains from YouTube or all the other social media platforms. Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, we have 27 state recall. Oh my God, for salad dressing, foreign objects. This is exactly what I'm. This is just going to. Hey, I'm going to tell you guys again. You better worry about your food supply. I mean, you need to have like some sort of lights and everything. We're talking about Hidden Valley Ranch is what they're showing here. The Food and Drug Administration announced this recall due to the presence of foreign objects. California-based Ventura Foods initiated on November 7th use of or exposure to temporary adverse health. Okay, what is going on here? We have another 50 recall notices over salmonella. More than 3,500 cases of salad dressing, including the popular Hidden Valley Ranch, were recalled because of plastic planting material was found in the dressing's granulated onion. Oh my God. Italian salad dressing, creamy poblano, avocado ranch dressing and dip, Ventura Caesar dressing, pepper mill, Regal Caesar dressing, pepper mill creamy Caesar dressing, Costco service deli, buttermilk ranch. Oh, your assets, your identity. I mean, this is just ridiculous. I got to put links in the chat room. This is bad. And again, I don't recommend Don't the salad dressings, ladies and gentlemen. You might want to change to where you have your own oil and vinegar type of dressings, because I'm just saying. All right. Um, but anything, we can all get got out here by all this nonsense. Look how many recalls we have every day. And now we got some more salmonella. This is what you should not do. You should not leave society at risk. You don't cut all of your Food and Drug Administration employees so you can host your friends and then think everything's going to be fine. This is just stupid. Again, this is why you need to protect yourself. This is why you need to protect your wealth. If you're going to have a 401k, if you're going to have insurance, if you're going to have savings and checking and CDs and all this stuff with banks, you need to have your beneficiaries on there. Double check them, set them up now. If you want to leave something to somebody, you need to set up a trust. Again, there's reasons. A revocable trust is while you're living. A revocable trust is while you're living. You create a trust. You dictate what's going to happen. The only problem with that is if you get sick and you need to go to a Medicaid or Medicare facility, guess what? They get to come back and look at your assets. And they might make you have to sell some of those assets in order to be covered. That's right. They don't get to go to your heirs if that's what you were going to do. Just saying. So this is why people go into the next mode, which is irrevocable. But again, that has its own little downfalls as well, because it must be maintained. You must have trustees. You have no control over it once you hand over the asset into the trust. So anything you put in an irrevocable trust is out of your hands. But if you got sick and needed Medicaid, Medicare, they have a 5-year look back. So if the trust is over 5 years old, it's irrevocable, then they can't take your assets for medical. Nor can they sue your trustees. That's out. And they can't sue the beneficiaries because, of course, you put in something that fits in the trust with federal and state laws, that you're making sure that it's separate property, your stuff. It's not part of your estate any longer. All right, just keep this simple. Try to keep it simple. It's a little more different, but trying to keep it simple for you guys. All right, this is why we're out here trying to help you. You want your credit right, then you have to go to Smart Credit. You see Tracy Sharpe at moneyladder.com, Smart Credit Monitoring System. And by the way, one other thing, if you have brokerage accounts or anything like that, you can also add those. You can have a beneficiary on there if you want. Or you can put it into a trust, or you can set up different trusts. You can have a business trust, investment trust, let's call it. You set up the rules. All right. You set all this up. You don't have to worry. You set it up. All right. Here's the Smart Credit. This is a credit monitoring system. Hiring index score, FICO 8 for automobiles, which again, don't buy automobiles, ladies and gentlemen. These things are ridiculous. $100,000 for a car is stupid. I hate to use the word stupid, but it really is. These cars aren't even built worth anything. They're like, it's plasticies, and it's like crumple, and it's just ridiculous. So many parts. It's almost like plastic cars. It's insane. So, and they don't last forever, or let's just say they don't last for like 10 years generally. All right. So think about what you're out here doing, wasting all of that money. Could have been buying some gold and silver and a little bit of Bitcoin and Ethereum over the last 5 years while you're paying $1,000 a month car note. If you can avoid that, and you should, all right, make sure you guys smash the like button, please. I'd greatly appreciate that. And if you like what I'm talking about, please subscribe to the channel. Click the all notification bell. Now, we're in 1 hour, 35 minutes, and we still are going. because we got into the rendition about wills, trust, revocable, irrevocable. Again, pour overs is what they call what you can do if you have one trust, and then once you pass away, then it converts to another trust, which is fine. But again, trying to figure out what's going to happen in your life is the hardest part, right? So people, it's a crapshoot one end or the other. But the point is, you're going to have to figure out something, because leaving your assets without a will is not an option. Putting your assets in a will is not an option, in my opinion. There's new rules coming out in 2026 regarding trust and how you can calculate and step up basis or not step up basis. So, step up basis is if you have an irrevocable trust, you give somebody $100,000 in a brokerage account in the trust. That's what your beneficiaries get to sell if that's what you ultimately do, right? But if that 100,000 is 20 years later is worth $1 million, it may not receive step up basis if it's in an irrevocable. So therefore, years later, now all of a sudden it's worth $1 million. So check with your estate planners, ladies and gentlemen. You can get further because this gets wild. It gets way out there. I'm just trying to keep things simple, but it gets out there. So now all of a sudden they go, oh, you got to pay capital gains on that $1 million shared by beneficiaries. So now there's going to be there's a way, but you got to talk to estate planners or research, whatever you want to do. But the point is, there may be a way around it, but you might not like it. All right, I'm just saying. But the point is, that is the difference between revocable, irrevocable. Revocable means it'll be if you passed away, then there's a step up basis. So the house is at whatever value it is today. The accounts, whatever value it is today. So then if you put it into an irrevocable trust, after it step up, no problem. How about this one? Remember that gift when you have your own property? Now there's a way potentially that could have a step up basis, but again, it's tricky to maneuver it because an irrevocable trust, the IRS does not want to give it a step up basis because it's not part of your taxable estate. So once you put it into the trust, irrevocable trust that is, it's not part of your taxable estate because you no longer own it officially. The trust owns it. So therefore, you're going to have a problem, capital gains, for the people that you want to have your stuff. And again, $1 million, capital gains, starts adding up. But then again, some people would say, well, at least they got something better than nothing. I mean, there's two ways to look at it. All right, let's go. Because we need you to smart credit. Let me see if I put that in there. I did, I think. I'll put it in there again. The other thing is, I did put in the Pillsbury recall is also, that link is in here. This is just out of control. I can't even believe all this food stuff, food supply. And there's more, ladies and gentlemen. There's more than just these two. That's the problem. Um, oh my. Hackers are using WhatsApp users targeted a new ghost pairing scam, giving hackers full account access without breaking passwords or encryption safeguards. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. This is just getting crazy out here. This is what I'm talking about. You're going to have to protect your identity. So, at least Smart Credit monitoring system has identity fraud protection up to $1 million, and it's anybody in your household. Only one person has to have Smart Credit, but all of you, well, whoever's going to be covered, you have to have the same address on your credit file that the person who has Smart Credit does. Then everybody in the household's covered. All right. So this is insane right here. This is scary. Jeez, it's fine how there's. Remember the thing about, in fact, MDA0214 asked about the crypto Visa debit card and said, is it safe and secure? I'm like, is there anything really safe or secure? Not really. They can hack into the Pentagon. They can hack into the FBI. Every hackers can hack into everything. All right. Even this so-called WhatsApp, which wasn't supposed to be hackable, is hackable apparently. This is crazy. This is crazy right now. Encrypted. Guess not. Again, um, here we go. MDA0214. It's pointless to have a living trust. Irrevocable trust is the only way. If you want to manage something, use a foundation. There we go. That's his point of view. He makes money. He's an investor. He has assets. I agree with this, actually. I just want to let people know this is what people do. But I agree with him wholeheartedly. You should have an irrevocable trust. Even with whatever somebody calls them the headaches, you just have to spell out every contingency. And like I said, use Chat GPT. You can get something rounded up pretty damn good because you just say, hey, is there anything else that I might have missed that do you think should be added for federal and state laws? And then they'll give recommendations, and then they'll explain why, and then you can be like, explain it to me or whatever. I mean, it's incredible. You can get a foundation, and then you seek some sort of estate plan or financial, estate. All right, you get somebody that's handles estates and trust and overlook it, or at least you don't have to pay the 5 to 10 G's. You can say, hey, look this over. What do you think? Is there any recommendations or something that costs you less than coming in blind? And now you have to write stuff out. Then they come back to you. Hey, what about this? Then you go back. Hey, I got this thing. What should I do with this car? Right. For instance, it's like, okay, come on. All of that. But yeah, the foundation part, that's something else too, because managing a foundation is not, it's, there's things that can happen that null and void your foundation is what I'm trying to should say. But he's got it right. This is why a lot of wealthy people have a foundation. You guys notice that, right? How all the wealthy people, rich people have foundations. There's a reason. Quite frankly, you can launder money through a foundation because you're getting not, especially when you start talk nonprofit. Now people make donations. They get a tax write-off. And 100% of the donation does not have to go to your worthy cause. That's the first key. Not even 50%. All right. So just think that's how I'm going to be the nice guy, right? All the rich guys acting benevolent. Oh, I made a donation to this foundation that they own. It's like, what the? Hey, my favorite one is the Kardashians' church. I know, right? I know. Hold on a second. Oh, this is funny stuff. This is funny stuff. Oh man. Hmm. Okay. All right. I won't even get into it. Um, I'm not going to get into it, but I just had to go and start laughing. Yeah, asking you start so they can make donations. It's one way, and in fact, I being a guy that knows how our government operates, they will let certain people slide, and they will come after other people. All right. So no, I will not be setting up a foundation. You can forget it. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Tell you that right now. Not going to happen. Eric, nobody's working our Punta Cana projects this time of year. They take Christmas break serious this week and next. The majority of workers are off site. Yeah, that's true. They're definitely off site. Yeah, yeah, they're not. eh, Yeah, dang, I can't remember the rules. They actually have rules where you could what hours you can work and all. I mean, it's pretty cool, but still a third world country. But the thing is, they have hours. It's like you can't work, after a certain time on Saturday. What is it, 1 o'clock or something? And then on Sunday, you're not supposed to work at all. And then holidays, you're not supposed to work at all. And DR has a lot of holidays, by the way, a lot. So they literally, I did this before. They work 9 months. When you include holidays and Sundays, they work 9 months out of 12. So when these that's why I got upset once I realized what the rules were, because I thought they could be like in America, you can work every day if you want it. But over there, they have rules. So then I realized actually you're only building 9 months out of 12 in DR. Best case scenario. Never mind if there's a weather pattern scenario where you hurricane or high winds or something like that, which again, that happens. So there's those days. And that could be like last year when it's rained every day in November. I don't know what they were doing for building. So you could have been off 2 weeks. So you would only have 8.5 months of working last in 2024. So this is why projects saying, oh, it'll be done in 2 years. But now I know, wait a minute, you're only going to have 18 months of build time. So you're really going to build something in 18 months, of course, over 2 years, but you're not supposed to be working those other 3 months. So that's when I said, oh man, all you guys are going to be late. And then when I realized how long it takes to transfer title, how long it takes to divide and all this stuff, I was like, why are you telling people you can build in 4 years or less when you know the timeline, when you don't own the land straight out already and you don't already have it subdivided? So even if I got it today, if I bought it today, 1 year to 1.5 years before the title's transferred. Now, 1.5 years, which would be 2027, let's call it June. Now I want to subdivide it because it just now got title to me. Now there's another 1 year, 1.5 years. And never mind if I have to get the environmental impact report. So now I'm sitting there with 3 years. So there's no way it's going to be built in 3 years because you don't even have title. Because you can't even transfer title, even if it was built. So now we got 3 years for sure. And you haven't even started yet. Now we're going to take 2 years or 3 years to build our first phase. So this is why 5, 6, 7 years is a thing. Once you understand the timelines, that's why I got pissed because I was like, you MFers were lying the whole time. I'm just sorry. I get upset. So when somebody ultimately finds out later that they bought something in 2020 and it's still not built right now, 2021, still not built, now you know why. It's a thing because they're not transparent. They never said what actually happens. And once I was doing the development stuff and I found out the real timeline, I was like, then all these dudes been lying this whole time, knowing full well that they're not building nothing in 2 years, 24 monthly payments, 36 monthly payments, knew full well there was no delivery coming in 3 years without them having title as they spoke and without subdividing everything as they spoke. They knew full well it ain't happening. So all the guys who don't have title and they have a contract to pay the people for the land so it allows them to do whatever they want to do, promote, market, they know full well some of those people, the title's not even the right title, that their family members have to sign off, which takes another 1.5 years, more than likely. So you can easily see we're up to 5 and 6 years. So now you understand why 5 to 7, 8 years is why things are taking their time in the DR. All right. I won't get on that trip because we got to protect ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Get your bank account outside the United States. Also, start your stock market trading right now. Did you see the gold and silver and precious metals are moving up? You could have been making money with all of that. And you know what the thing is coming next? Candlestick Bible. Some of you got lucky enough, if you're on the WhatsApp, you got another candlestick scenario, a link for a different candlestick PDF. How about that? How about that? That's right. Everybody on WhatsApp. Um, let's see. What is this here? Let me go look. Okay, here's the Candlestick Bible. Go study. Start getting in because you can do this anywhere in the world. You can be in whatever country you're in and outside of whatever country you're in. You could be anywhere in the world. And then my next piece of advice is the one I've been giving everybody for the rest of the year is because I found out about Bankus, crypto Visa debit card. So I suggest you get in the flow, download the app. You don't look, it's a money making adventure. I'll probably make a video. I still, I'm not really trying to turn this into a networking, sign up, make some money thing, but ultimately that's what happens if you decide to get it. So I guess sooner or later I'm going to have to talk about it, right? So here's the link to in fact, hold on. Tomorrow, there's going to be a Zoom call at 2 and 8 p.m., so I'll put all of it in. Here's the password. Go check it out. Actually, you can make money by referring other people. That's number one. And the reason why is because when you refer other people, the plastic card that has the tap feature is $35 plus $10 for shipping. It takes about 2 to 3 weeks if you're in the US, 2 to 3 weeks in most countries. But other countries where mail is weird, it could take a month. All right. But that's the point. It's worldwide because it's a crypto card. You download your crypto to the card, it's a prepaid card outside of the USA. So if you live in Mexico, it's in your jurisdiction. All right. It's because it's Mexican company. But if you live in any other country, it's not your country's jurisdiction. Okay. That should tell you all that I'm going to be saying about that. But the thing is, you can make money. Why? Because when I load money up, when I get my card, I'm anticipating I ordered mine December 13th or 14th. It takes, well, some people in America got their card in 2 weeks. I won't be to where my mailing address is going to be until 3 weeks. Well, now, hold on. Still 3 weeks. 3 weeks. So in 3 weeks, I'll have my card, I anticipate, because it already should be there probably at the end of either the first few days in January or thereabouts. So I'm going to be in January. I'll be where my card is going to be shipped to inside of America, of course. And so I will have it, I'll load it, and then somebody receives a small percentage of when I load the card every time for life, which is pretty cool, actually. And then when you refer people and they load the card, that's another way to do it. But the thing is, if you're going to use that card and you keep loading it, then you get a little percent. I mean, it's like 2 or 3% or something. It's not like a, 10, 20% or anything like that. USDT, USDC, uh, and I can send money to anybody on the network. Kind of like when we're outside in DR and somebody says, "Hey, I need money." And I go, "You do? No worries. I have money to send you." And you just go into your bank account and you need the person's bank account number and their ID number. And you just hit send, not like Zelle. You hit send, and guess what? You can call the person up in about 2 minutes. "Hey, man, I sent you the money. You get it?" "Yep, got it. Thank you." Not in America. Got to sign up with Zelle, put in your phone number, put in your email address, do all this crazy. "Oh, yeah, and since you did in the middle of the night, it might be sent tomorrow, or Saturday or Sunday. It might be sent tomorrow." No. Can you believe that? A developing nation has a banking system that you can just send money to people. They do take out their little fee. which is fine. They call it a tax, which is fine. I don't mind. It's just a little tax. It's just like an ATM tax. I mean, it's nothing major. But the point is, I'm trying to make is a developing nation, you can send citizens money almost instantly. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But here in America, you got to sign up with Zelle or PayPal or Venmo or Cash App and those guys take fees. But you have to sign up with them, which again, weaponization by a government is never a good thing. All right. That's why you need to protect yourself, ladies and gentlemen. We're in the litigious United States. The reason why you want to trust, like post-retirement travel said, I mean, like MDA 0214 said, I, like him, prefer irrevocable trust. You can do your research. Just do chat GPT if you just want to get started and ask questions. All right. That's how you get started. Just go down what you want to do. Here's what I want to do. And that just start it. Just start doing it. I mean, it's free for a minute, but still, they'll still give you some stuff that gives you something to think about. All right. Just remember the hymns portion if you want beneficiaries to receive something ongoing. All right. Just remember that. Just remember beneficiaries cannot pledge. You got to make sure it's in your trust. They can't pledge any portions that they receive. Is not a paycheck or anything like that. You got to just ask it. It'll put in appropriate wording for you based on the state law you want your trust to be in and the federal government. It'll automatically ask you questions. You want this? Ask for recommendations because I want to make sure the trust is ongoing and some the profits or some monies gets given to the beneficiaries. So that's how you do it. It's very simple, really. It's not that hard. Just think like a deed of a house is what I had to tell my dad. I said, Dad, it's like a deed. All right. Whoever you want to give the house to, you write it down. Right. You if you had a will, you would write it down who the house goes to, or you can add their name on it right now. And instead of adding their name, and it's just a name, you could write in front of it beneficiary, beneficiary, beneficiary. It's the same process when you think of real estate and a deed. Same thing, except in this case, there's no probate. Nobody has anything to do with it. And by the way, since you're in the litigious United States, you might want to protect yourself. Again, this is about protect yourself out here, ladies and gentlemen, no matter what country you're in. Every country has different laws with regard to trust, but I am with MDA 0214 wholeheartedly on the irrevocable part. There's a lot of people who say, oh, don't do the irrevocable. I'm like, dude, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but it's awfully hard not to. With AI, it's extremely easy to find stocks that'll 10x. It cuts research time down significantly. Yes, my friends use AI also. In fact, my friends what did he tell me? He said he made a screenshot of the market for whatever he was trading, uploaded it to ChatGPT, and said, what's the recommendation since whatever he was doing, trading on this particular symbol? And it actually sent him back what he should do and has been successful and still uses this. I was like, hold on, man, hold on. Are you kidding me? And he said he looks for alerts. He told it what to do so he would get alerts from ChatGPT. I said, okay, this is getting crazy right now. I mean, this is getting real crazy. It's lovely. But again, for the version he has, I believe he said it costs $25 a month or something like that. So, but it's worth it. It works. It works. It works. And just by that, because get this, he does that because he works 2 jobs and does the trading thing. And since he almost has it automated, he doesn't even spend that much time on it because it's on his phone. He just says, all right, because you can hook up your trading accounts with your mobile with the app. So he says, yeah, I'm working. I get the alert and I just go, oh, it fits the criteria. They tell him what to do. I'm just like, oh, man, this is too much right now. This is way, way too much for me right now. I used to be the hacker, the guy that was on top of all this computer stuff. This is getting to be a whole nother ball game. BTC, says Brian P, is still at 88,000. And oh, by the way, post retirement travel, EV Place, thank you so much with those icons next to your name, meaning you're members of the channel. I appreciate that. Everybody else, if you'd like to become a member of the channel, please join. And I also have to show some love for EV Place. He does special car systems for speakers. So here's the link, ladies and gentlemen, in the chat room. Go check it out. If you want renewable energy to power your 700 plus watts or 1400 watts, man, then you need to talk to this man. Clean sound is what you need because you got clean power to hook up to. Renewable, where you can run for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, depending on how you upscale your system without having to run your battery down that runs your car, or without having to have a generator, because your generator's in your trunk, by the way. But it's not a generator like a thing. No, it's actually renewable energy source. So while you're driving around, your renewable energy power pack is getting its refresh. Then when you stop, turn off your car, you can sit there and chill out listening to your music without having to worry about your car starting again. All right, go check them out. It's in the chat room, ladies and gentlemen. EV Place. Let them know. SSN Nation said, I need to check you out. PSA buys Beckett grading service. Are you kidding me right now? Who the... I wonder if this is going to be another one of those inside jobs. You know? Uh-oh. China says U.S. seizures of Venezuelan tankers violate international law. That's very true. I don't know why China need to say that. Everybody knows that. And killing people off the coast of another country in a boat without any proof of anything, and even if you had proof, is a violation of international law. You're war criminals at that point when there's no war. So basically, you're terrorists. Quite frankly, the U.S. are terrorists in essence when you're killing people off the coast of another country that you're not at war with. Again, dancing with the devil to destroy a country is nasty work. Uh-oh, what's this? What's this new DNA law? What is this? Oh my. Who hasn't swabbed yet? This is interesting. This is what is this? Don't even get my blood boiling with this. The Sun, the U.S. edition. So final days until new airport DNA law comes into effect. See how it could impact your Christmas travel. What? It could mean handing over your DNA. Are we serious right now? Travelers heading across the U.S. border after Christmas could face a major new privacy shakeup, with officials now allowed to collect far more biometric data. Did I not tell you? Including DNA in some cases. Did I not tell you this? We just started out the video about this. Are you serious right now? Your fingerprints, your biometric, now your DNA, which they could always grab anyhow, but now you're going to officially hand it over. The tough checks kick in December 26th, right as holiday trips wind down and airports stay packed. Government documents seen by Reuters say the rule targets non-citizens entering or leaving. What? Can take photos at airports and run facial recognition to match travelers against existing records. Yeah, they've already done that. By the way, when you come in through immigration, you're an American citizen, they already have your picture up. Those records can be kept for up to 75 years. The rule also allows DHS to demand other biometrics, including fingerprints or DNA from non-U.S. citizens. Are you? Yeah, because U.S. citizens already gave up theirs when they get their passports and stuff. Are you kidding me right now? Who wants to come visit America when it's acting like it's a freaking Nazi regime? This is insanity. Well, there goes that. Holy smokes, ladies and gentlemen. I just put that in the. Oh, my. Oh, PSA buys Beckett grading service. Okay. Um, yeah, again, it doesn't matter if it's trading cards. I was thinking real estate, like the oh, what's some guys that used to do the banking, AAA rated, Moody's, and all those guys doing BS. Well, here we go again. It's going to be BS once again, increasing the value of collectibles. Sad. Look what country we live in, man. This is sad stuff right now. Trading is too easy. I don't use AI for that. I use it to research companies for my Roth IRA. Yeah, 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 exactly. However you do it. But for him, he uses AI, which is cool. Crazy news, man. I know this is out of control. This is just so sick. This is why you have to protect yourself. Now you understand when I said the bank is card, there's one reason. It's because it's outside of the US jurisdiction. Bank accounts outside the US jurisdiction. Any type of business that you can get outside the USA jurisdiction because it's a rogue nation. They're going to be grabbing at all of your stuff. They're trying to make sure that certain people stay above the fray because they have the money and they're making sure the wealth gets transferred up to them. And while they're taking our biometrics, DNA, they're checking facial recognition. That's so that they know who you are. And once they can identify your assets, then they know when SHIT hits the fan, they know where they can go grab stuff. So when you have your regulated environment, in fact, go get your unstoppable domain, ladies and gentlemen. Go down. It's a blockchain scenario. You get your name or whatever name you want. Here's a link in the chat room as well. We got to keep going with all this stuff to protect you a little bit, even though they know who you are. But the fact of the matter is, once it's on the blockchain, it's not an ISP. So they can't take it down. They can't tell you to do jack crap other than threaten you. We'll put you in jail. You don't give us the info, which happens as well. Okay. Tamara Larry, very happy to see you once again, another investors in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And again, happy holidays, everybody. Christmas Eve. I may be here. You know what that means. We're going to have the Christmas Eve hat, the Santa hat. All right. So, let's go. Lemonade. I found lemonade through AI. Then I sold 90% and found FLNC. And I just keep rolling the money in my Roth looking for the next cheap stock. Well, MDA0214, why don't you give us some information? Help out the fellow members of SSN Nation. What do you put into Chat GPT to go find a company? What is your parameters? You say, I need to see 10x. What's your parameters? And very smart, by the way, that he sold lemonade, and I'm pretty sure probably at the highs. Very good. Very, very good. FLNC, I'm not familiar with that one. Let's go look. I've heard of it before, but I can't remember what FLNC is. Let's go see what that is. Fluence in. Okay, you know I'm down with energy companies. All energy companies, ladies and gentlemen, you might want to consider, quite frankly, because the prices are going up. Plain and simple. 52-week low, $3.40. Unbelievable. Now it's $20.45. The 52-week high was $25. So again, 6 months, let's go 6 months. 263% in the last 6 months. This is not shocking. Not shocking at all. In fact, a bunch of energy companies should be on the same trajectory because they're going to be helped by the United States government because you're going to be paying more money for energy. All right. Just saying. There's no way around it. I mean, this is just so bad. So bad. I'm looking at some of these other energy companies. They're doing 13% for the year, 15. First Solar should be very interesting, but it's only 6.6. Um, yeah, so energy companies, yeah, they're just going to take more of your money. All right. Okay. Check your sources because this is MD0214 gives us any help here, ladies and gentlemen, because the OCs want to know. All right. Any questions that you might want to ask Chat GPT to help a OC out? All right. I'm not going to be on here much longer. I got some other things I'm going to be doing this evening. And I just want to let you guys know I love you guys very much. I appreciate your support over all these years. Just remember, you can get this gear at stopstrugglingnow.com. Stopstrugglingnow.com. All right. Just remember that. We're not going to leave you hanging. We only have a few left. Oh, wow. Wow. This is just Jesus. China sues Missouri. 25 billion court judgment seeks to collect a 25 billion court judgment. Oh my. Oh my. This is out of control. Everybody's getting in on this litigious United States of America. Even the adversaries. But but the question is China really an adversary when they're making your products? I mean, come on. I guess they are. I mean, I just find this so weird. Yeah, we're you're our adversary, but you can make products for our company, for our companies in America, no problem. But you're our adversary. I'm just like, this is crazy. That's kind of like you're our friend, but you send your Saudi guys to ram into our buildings for 9/11, but we're going to give you bomb making equipment under the Trump regime. That's just crazy stuff to me. I'm just like, it's like somebody's an asset for somebody else. Who would do some stuff like this? All right. Okay. Why do I have this on the screen? Okay. Thought I went down farther. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to close out in a little bit, but I was hoping MDA0214 might give you guys a little secret sauce. Because, you can't just jump in. All right. You won't be successful unless you know what the game is, what the rules are, how to improve your chances of winning. That is the key right there. All right, let's go. Got in FLNC at 360 and sold most at 20. Good God. Awesome. AI, you can ask it anything, but then you go to the financials, read the notes, look at the balance sheet, and find a good entry price. Okay. He's doing the work the old fashioned way, ladies and gentlemen, which the old fashioned way is actually the way you really should invest. You should know what the balance sheet is. You should know what the financials, what you're reading, and what to extrapolate from those. Because when they have earnings calls, they give you a lot of fluff. They give you all of the niceties. Every now and then they'll mention, well, we didn't bring in as much revenue, or this part of our research and development hasn't kind of panned out, but we're still working on it. But again, numbers don't lie. All right. So, again, thank you for that. That still helps people one way or another. But yeah, the old Wall Street Journal used to break that out, and people would be like, "Why you got the Wall Street Journal, right?" Did People don't even know. Well, people do know, but at one time, the Wall Street Journal used to have investments all over the place in the Wall Street Journal, kind of like what we have online right now. Like the what is that? Starter. what do you call that, Kickstarter and all that. That's kind of like what they had in the sections of the back of the Wall Street Journal. You could actually put an ad in there if you were looking for investors. And who gets the paper? Investors, a targeted audience. All right. I won't get into other stories later. Friday nights are good for stories. All right. No specific set of questions. You don't have to be an expert in any sector. AI will give all the information you need if you ask. Well, there you go. Okay, he's not asking anything specific. He's asking for the financial records from like last quarter, annually. I'm assuming. So that's a area you might want to check out. How profitable is the company? What's the revenues, right? Revenues, but we need profit numbers, right? Do we have any new partnerships or new products? There's a lot of questions you could ask to get a bead on if this is going to be worthy. But start with the financials. And if you're lucky enough to find something at $3.60 and it rises up to $23, that's a win. As soon as it rose up to 15, that was a win. But the fact of the matter is 23 and exiting is beyond a win. Damn near 7 times, 700%. It's a lovely day. Great job, MDA0214. Very happy you're here for the Christmas presents to the SSN Nation. And beyond Christmas, it's a lifetime of presents he's giving you guys right now. All right. Speaking of that, protect yourself. Seriously. You can see where this goes. I told you guys before, the facial recognition comes. The DNA's now on the table for non-citizens, which means, come on, it's going to happen. Everybody's went into some of the DNA, like, 23andMe and what's the other one? I can't remember the name of it. Starts with an A, I believe. But anyhow, the DNA databases, they're available. People already swabbed, sent them in. So it's available. So they already cross-match. They have your name. Once they have your name, you're in the system already under social security numbers. So you're there. Driver's license, social security numbers, they know who you are. All right. Freedom isn't really freedom anymore. Now, what comes next? Well, what comes next is bad guys frame you. That's what comes next because they're able to manipulate the database. Just saying. So you better be in certain places at a certain time. No financial, more of how stuff work and different components needed, economic or physical. Okay. Appreciate the info. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is getting bad out here. We're dealing with a bunch of things. A bunch. Too many to be exact. It's scary out here. I'm scared. Not really. Oh, the South, not with an ISP. It's on the blockchain. You mint it. Nobody can take your domain like ericbird.crypto. StopStrugglingNow.crypto. SSNLifestyle.crypto. SSNLifestyle.nft. StopStrugglingNow.nft. EricBird.nft. EricBird.Bitcoin wallet. All I'm saying, all of that minted on a blockchain, and unless the blockchain goes down, nobody can F with it. And you can put pictures and a website, a small one, on your unstoppable domain. Only a few pages. You can't. It's not to hold gigabytes, right? But it's on the blockchain, which means nobody can call up and go, take it down. I don't like what he says. Sorry. All right. Thank you for checking the emails. Well, man. Like earlier, I was looking up information on the orphan drug status, which I know nothing about. He just gave you guys a hint. He gave you a hint. orphan drug status. What is that? Let's go look. Meaning. Give you something to look at. Is status granted by regulatory bodies like the FDA to drugs treating rare diseases affecting fewer than 200,000 people in the US or serious conditions where development costs can't be recouped? Incentivizing development with benefits like, of course, tax credit grants and 7 years of market exclusivity to address unmet needs for small patient populations. It encourages companies to develop treatments for orphan diseases that might otherwise be ignored due to limited profit potential without compromising standard safety and efficacy requirements. Cool, kind of. It's regulatory status for drugs targeting rare diseases or conditions. That's kind of cool. Oh, does not mean the drug is inherently safe, effective, or gets faster approval. It still must meet all standard FDA requirements. Application. A sponsor applies to the FDA before approval. Great. That means I can have preferred treatment if I'm into the regime who will take my money. Oh man, this is not good. Must show the drug treats a rare disease and provide data on prevalence and medical plausibility. Okay, I'm not really liking this. This is basically allowing bad guys to do bad things. No. I wouldn't have said this previously in years before, but under this regime, I'm skeptical highly. Look at all of the. You already see that all this tainted food supply is everywhere. Nobody's immune. You're gonna have to watch which. And I will say this: remember, one time we had a recall on organic products. So don't think that just because you use plant based or anything like that that you're going to be immune either. You better start getting some boxes in your backyard and planting some crops. Just saying. Just saying. All right. Because this year, I haven't planted any crops, but this year, 2026, I should say, is starting to protect yourself. So now I'm going to have some boxes in the backyard growing stuff. Luckily, the yard's big enough to grow a lot of stuff. So that's what's going to be on the agenda for me and the familia. So that's what we're going to do. That is on the plan, all right? Where I'm out here doing some other things right now for family to make sure we have a family member survive and people do not believe what's happening, but it's happening. It's going down. So we'll just remember I told you guys at one time it looks like I'm about to put together this protocol for something that helps with the brain, and it appears it can be done. It appears. I haven't fully gotten everything together yet, but that would be so major. And what's been happening with my aunt who has Alzheimer's is that now, instead of blindly staring at people, potentially not even knowing who they were and not saying anything, she says a little, but not like how I'm talking now. It comes out because she hasn't really talked for like a year. So it's been this year that she breaks out some phrases. But when you have Alzheimer's, which people go, well, you can't do nothing. Okay. Well, all of a sudden now, even today, because my uncle, who he had to go through the devastation of, I don't know about you guys, but I think if you're with your loved one, your wife, your girlfriend, or whoever, and they wake up and they say, who are you? You would say, haha, quit playing. But what if it's, who are you? I'm going to call the police. Get out of my room. Get out of my house. I don't know you. Start screaming. That would be very traumatic. And then all of a sudden the person is like, what's up? It's like it didn't happen, right? Leaving water on after washing their hands or turning on the stove, leaving it on. We're not, I'm just giving you examples of what happens. And nowhere to go, right? Didn't even call family members and say anything. We didn't know how serious things were until it was she's in bed. And because she's in bed, now it's even worse because now she's not walking around, nothing like that's happening. And then you have people going, well, she has dementia, she has Alzheimer's, there's nothing you can do. And I'm sitting there like, really? There's always something you can do with the human body. So she got sick because her signals stop, right? You don't swallow, so now you can't eat. So now you get pneumonia because it's going into your lungs, the food's part of it. So now that shuts everything off. But for 2 months or thereabouts, 2 to 3 months, she was getting this protocol that we had. But luckily, some of this stays in your tissues, stays in parts of your body. So your body doles it out still, even if you take nothing else for a few years. Not all of the things stay in your system, but some 4 to 6 ingredients, B6, B12, all right, goes into some of your tissues, your liver, and some of your organs, and then it can still dole it out over time. So if you shut down on the stop eating sugar, which is now what it has happened because she can't really eat, so now they have to give her not intravenous, but a tube, and so that's how she's getting her. It goes to her stomach, but that's how she's getting it. So after that, all of a sudden she's going. Today, my uncle says, do you know who we are? She says, yes. This real quick, there's no delay. She's starting to say things like, I'm glad family is here, is what came out of her mouth like 2 days ago. Because the nurse came in and she says, oh, it's so awesome that your family's here. My aunt says, I'm happy my family is here. And we're all sitting there like, what the heck? So all of a sudden, it's like, now, of course, my uncle's getting excited because he's like, oh my God, this is getting crazy. I'm like, yeah, you're seeing something that people said can't happen. And so we're hopeful that this can be something that gets better and better and better. But just letting you know, your food supply is tainted, which you have to protect you and your family. So you might want to consider adding something to the list. That is the food. You better start doing it yourself, sourcing it yourself. Because tonight's topic, protect your money, protect your assets, your wealth, credit, and identity. And I should have put health on here too, because that is going down. You have to understand everything is processed here in America because you want it quick, fast. And so you have to be concerned. Wrong. It's an incentive for finding cures to stuff that most wouldn't care about. So you get favorable taxes and no one can enter that space for 7 years. Many companies use it, big and small. Oh, I'm pretty sure. I don't really care. My point is, once first of all, you're talking to the wrong. Uh, uh, the wife is manufactured, man. In fact, let me give you guys some information. So there's women out here that have um, hot flashes, night sweats, right? Now, your body, a woman when they get into their 30s, they stop making progesterone cream. All right. Now, the problem is now you're gonna say, okay, get synthetic because you can create a drug. You can create something that mimics what your body produces, but it's not how your body processes it in your system. So now the wife makes it where it goes into the bloodstream because you get the topical cream and it goes through the skin directly into the bloodstream. So you don't take pills because you only get 17 to 18% of pills that you swallow. So when somebody says I got 500 milligrams of a pain pill or 1,000, we'll use 1,000. You're only getting like 170 to 200 milligrams. That's why the prescription has to be so high because you can't get enough milligrams because once it goes down your throat into your stomach, it starts breaking down. So when you put it directly in your bloodstream, now it's going to your organs, bypasses all that. Yeah. So The wife has progesterone cream. She makes this since the 90s. You know what the United States government does? First, they ban it unless it's made in a manufacturing facility that's FDA approved with special controls. Guess what? You know how many FDA manufacturing facilities are in America? Can anybody guess? Right. Less than 10, less than 5. And when it comes into your manufacturing facility, if the FDA shows up and they see it's commingled in with any other drugs and not set aside into a special area, shut down. And by the way, you get flagged. And by the way, you ain't gonna have it in your spot no more because after they done find you, you ain't gonna want to carry it no more. So now the women who are having this problem can't get the right ingredients because they're taking the pills. They're taking somebody else's wild yam BS crap. Not effective because it's not the real deal. And now only doctors can prescribe it. But guess what? Now they get some of this progesterone, the creams and stuff like this. Guess where? From China, tainted potentially. This is why I have a problem with somebody talking about we're doing research, doing all this crap, because in this system that we have in America, there's levels to all of this. And so therefore, there's people that will not, manufacturing facilities will not make that product for my wife. There's only like 2 in America. And she damn sure ain't sourcing any of her stuff out from China, ain't getting it from a foreign country, ain't getting it from anybody that is not licensed, regulated with the FDA and approved and all this stuff, because you never know when you go outside and get, yeah, it's cheaper, but it may not be as good and it could be tainted. You don't want that. So again, when you start saying this stuff and you say, oh, these guys can do all this stuff. No, see, you're right. They can do whatever they want, but that doesn't mean that they're using materials that is proper, nor does it mean that they're not hurting people. There's a company that actually was going to be partners, or I don't really remember because this when I first was dating my wife, and a guy wanted to be partners who was a competitor, and the competitor had stole the same bottles she uses. Well, first of all, I can't say stole because the bottles that she used already give you like the dose that you need. So then he switched to the bottles. The bottle is uh, it holds 3.5 ounces. This guy on his label, which has to be FDA approved, by the way, puts on there 4 ounces. So on his bottle, it says 4 ounces. Wife's bottle, it says 3.4. The bottle only holds 3.5. So now people are seeing the bottles. He has different labels. The people are calling up going, yeah, I see somebody else that has this product. And she's like, he's got more ounces and it costs like a little bit less than yours. And uh, she's like, uh, the bottle only holds 3.5 ounces. So first, he's lying about that, just so you know. And second of all, uh, you might want to send it to they used to have testing labs in America, like in the Bay Area. Not Balco, but they used to have testing where you can send products into a facility and they'll tell you if the ingredients that they said is in there. Well, guess what happened? You know, we're competitors. We send the bottle in there, find out what's in there. Guess what? The ingredients in his bottle is not in there. 2 years later, dude gets fined by the government. We all knew this stuff for 3 years before. They got around to it 3 years later. Dude's in business. After he got fined, he sold his business. And I won't go any further to the story. But this is what we're talking about. You're in a situation where these guys are doing all kind of crazy. And by the way, here's the other part. There's manufacturing facilities that are not under FDA. Think about that. So that's why I have a point of view. You have guys that are doing rogue stuff, and you're sitting there telling me the FDA does whatever they want. All right. They look the other way. They don't care. Our government doesn't care about killing people. If any woman's watching this, you know estrogen. The reason why you have birth control pills, guess what they are? Estrogen. That's how they stop you from having your cycle so you can't get pregnant. But that crap causes cancer. So when women walk around going, I got cancer, I got this, it's FDA approved and all that crap, they're killing people, man. So again, you study, but we in it. And when you have companies and and governments trying to stop something that they know works and then try to turn it into a prescription when in fact it doesn't have to be because it's derived from a plant, that is nasty work. Nasty work. All right, I won't get into it anymore because it's disgusting. And this is why when a doctor comes up to me and starts spouting stuff and he says, well, this can't, you could imagine when I'm at with my aunt and nurses and doctors come in and say things like, she has Alzheimer's, she has dementia, nothing's gonna, I'm, I was in a room with the administrator of a facility. I was pissed. She comes in the room. She goes, you know what? Mind you, this is 8 months ago. She comes in the room and she goes, well, we need to have a heart-to-heart talk since the family's here. And I said, well, my cousin's not here, which is your son. But she goes, yeah, but you guys are here. I just want to let you know that you might want to consider hospice and prepare for the worst. And I'm like, what did you just say right now? She starts now. I have the supervisor in there and the administrator. The administrator says, well, I worked in the field for 25 years. I used to work in a medical facility that had mental patients, Alzheimer patients, dementia patients for 10 or 15. And I've never seen nobody come back from. I'm like, you know what? You need to shut. I didn't say it, but in my brain is like, she needs to shut the hell up. Then the supervisor pops up. Oh man, yeah, I used to work in a facility with these people and nobody ever comes back. Nothing ever. They just get worse and worse and worse. And then they proceed to say, well, the family, you guys should consider putting her in a hospice and doing this. And I'm like, first of all, um, does she take medication? No. Does she have any vital signs that says what? Blood pressure? Check. No problem. Glucose? Check. Obviously, no problems. Any organs have a problem? No problem. So, in essence, the only thing you're telling me is her body is functioning perfectly fine, but you're going, well, her mind is all left up. Da, da, da. I said, see, there's where the problem is. You guys are listening to doctors and you listen to people. I said, right now, if you knew where she came from, which you don't, because 4 or 5 months ago, she didn't even recognize her husband or anybody. She didn't even say anything. So this is why when these people say these things, and then people say, well, we're going to do this in FDA and we don't need approval and all this crap. In the nutritional business, none of that is FDA regulated pretty much. Supplement business, because that's what you're talking about, MDA 0214, supplement business. Except now they're doing this FDA thing that you're talking about, which is fine. But the fact of the matter is, supplement business is not really regulated. So that's why they're allowed to sell it. And you don't know what's actually in these ingredients that they say. What there's on the bottle does not mean it's claimed just because it's nature's one or whatever it's called. I can get in this for days because I've been doing this damn thing. So everybody goes, well, how come, your blood systems and everything is like check, 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 check. Well, I mean, come on, I get sick too because our immune systems are based on our immune system. But you got to have a strong immune system, right? So anyhow, he says, we're talking about, no, we're not, man. See, again, you start this stuff again. I'll repeat. Here it is. It's less than 200,000 people. All right. Let me ask you something right now. Here's how it works. A sponsor applies to the FDA before approval. Who do you think the sponsor is? You know about studies, right? You know, if I want a drug approved, I'm going to go get a study. And because I'm paying them, I'm going to have the study say wonderful things about our product until we move into another stage. And then all of a sudden, when they find out it's bogus, that it doesn't uphold that when you have the independent studies, all of a sudden, oh, yeah, well, it worked. No, it doesn't work. That's how it goes. But I can get FDA into it and do my studies and do all that crap that takes 10 years. You want to bypass it? Then you pay, right? There's a way you can pay. So this thing about acting all like new, like you think that these guys are doing some great things, what they're doing is basically they get to make some money, yes. They get to, again, tax credits, one, research grants, two, fee waivers, three, 7-year market exclusivity after approval, four. But you don't understand the drug business. This is one thing about the drug business. Whether it's legal or illegal, the drug business is the same. That's all you got to remember. All right. That's all you got. Somebody's always looking for a way to get ahead, and some people are able to do it. That's what the drug business is. And the FDA, first of all, drugs approved by the FDA, generally 90% of them have a black box. If you don't know what a black box is, what it is when they tell you, here's the side effects, this is from actual studies that they had to do, those side effects are real. People ignore them because they go, well, I got to take this. If you knew what Benadryl does to your body, when you're trying to stop your nose from running and all that, and they go, oh, yeah, get some Benadryl. Why don't you go read about what happens to some people when they take Benadryl long enough? There's a toxicity level, but they don't tell you about that. So again, I'm the wrong guy to be talking about FDA stuff, man, because they approve stuff that kill people. That's all I'm going to say right now. I get pissed. I get upset. I get upset because I've already been in the trenches with this. We had people who had to get their manufacturing facilities shut down. Imagine a manufacturing facility that's approved by the FDA, and they walk in and they go, you have some legal pharmaceutical grade product on the floor that we don't want to go to the general public to help people. So therefore, we're going to find you and potentially yank your FDA. That's what these clowns have done. This is why there's only a limited field of pharmaceuticals, and normally the pharmaceuticals are bad for you. By the way, uh, an alert. I just told you guys about Benadryl, right? You guys can Google it. See what happens when you take Benadryl too long, or see what the ramifications are for some people. It's not everybody, but the fact that they allow for some people, and it ain't like 1% or 2% or 3% of people, that's the problem. And just what I said about birth control, estrogen, killing women because estrogen causes cancer. When you're chubby and fat and all that stuff, your fat cells actually produce estrogen. But that doesn't stop you from uh, not being able to have the birth control feature for women. But the problem is you dumped your body at 25 to 35 to whatever with all this estrogen. Then years later, you're like, oh man, there's a tumor. I mean, cancer. Where did that come from? Well, it might have been that year or 6 months or whatever that you've been dumping estrogen in your body, and then you never thought nothing about it. And that's FDA approved, by the way. I get upset, man. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I get upset because this hurts me. This hurts me a lot because people think the FDA is trying to protect them. Estrogen is made from ostrich eggs. No, estrogen. Estrogen. Hey Eric, have you used DMSO before? No, I don't even know what that is. Let's go look. Don't know what it is. No, I don't. No, that's a supplement. It says supplement. Let's go see what it is. I don't know what DMSO is. Nah. Recommended for human consumption without safety concerns and lack of. What is it? Looks like a fluid, but what is it? DMS. What is it? It doesn't give me a name. Oh, dimethyl sulfide. Uh, that's interesting. Is this like blue methylene or anything? Let's go look. See, this is what you got to study. I like to ask. I don't like sulfoxide part of it, but we'll see. Powerful solvent with anti-inflammatory, analgesic, and membrane-penetrating properties. Nice. Used medically for interstitial cystitis, bladder pain, and industrially as a versatile solvent. But its ability to carry substance through skin means purity is critical for human use, as industrial grades can be toxic and cause side effects like garlic breath or nausea. Okay, the first part, toxic, I am never taking it. All right, you can forget that. Never gonna happen. Acts as a pain reliever and reduces inflammation. A lot of things reduce inflammation. Blueberries, I mean, come on. Yeah, blueberries reduce inflammation too. You don't have to take Tylenol and all that stuff. I'm just crazy. All right. Skin irritation, systemic effects, nausea, vomiting, flushing, chest tightness, or hypotension. That's the black boxes I'm talking about. Do not take this. Toxicity. Industrial DMSO is not for human use due to impurities and the risk of carrying toxins into the body. Do not use that. This is what I'm talking about. This stuff shouldn't even be what is this? This stuff shouldn't even be this shouldn't even be used. Produced from wood pulp. Oh hell no, this shouldn't be used. This really shouldn't be used. Industrial and chemical uses dissolve both polar and non-polar compounds, widely used in chemistry and industry, produced from wood pulp. That ain't working. Bladder pain syndrome, FDA approved. Man, no, not going to happen. Used as a preservative for organ transplant in stem cells due to its ability to protect cells. Yeah, well, you have other things that can protect cells. You could use iodine, which also helps your thyroid to help you block some toxins that go up through your thyroids through here, ladies and gentlemen. So you see these people that have these big little thyroid bubbles. That's what that is. These goiters. That's what it is. And so basically, you have to have iodine in your system, which, by the way, you don't have iodine hardly anywhere, but my wife makes them. Iodine balance, ladies and gentlemen. And again, goes directly into your bloodstream. So therefore, it helps your function of um, your goiter start shrinking because now all the materials are being processed through. All right. Just keep that in mind. That's why it grows bigger because it's not all this bad stuff is not being filtered. And by the way, it goes to your brain. So now people go, well, how do you get cancer on the brain? It's because it breaks through your barrier. Just saying. All right. I mean, there's so much stuff to this. And guess what? Notice nobody wants to do this. And by the way, it's from 1930s. And the FDA won't do it because the product that they can make is so cheap, and they can't stop it because you can have seaweed, you can have other things where you can get iodine naturally, and that's how you can stop it and help your body improve absorption and a bunch of other things just off of that. All right, no toxicity. But yeah, you shouldn't be taking DMSO, especially if it says there's toxicity, and it says it's not even for human use. That's crazy. Yeah, you shouldn't be taking it. I think it's more treats pain and discomfort in your bladder caused by this, also known as bladder pain syndrome. Yeah, I don't think you should be taking this as a normal thing, especially since this again, it can if it can go through your barriers and get into your bloodstream, like they said, that means I don't know if this is an ointment. Putting DMSO on wet skin can make it blister. Do not breathe in the DMSO. What does DMSO do to the brain? Induces, I don't know what this is. Hydrocephalus. Is this bad or good? I'm like, dependent man. This observation sheds lights on a potential explanation for an occurrence of as a secondary complication in intracranial treatments utilizing DMSO as a solvent. Okay. Whatever this is, man, I don't know. I would not be messing around with this stuff. If you want to do some other stuff, there's other stuff out there that can actually help you that's naturally occurring that you can actually take. Just saying. I shouldn't even be talking about this because I'm not the expert. I should bring the expert on. Let you guys talk about it. Ostrich battery hens. I don't know what this is, man. What's this guy talking about? What's he talking about here? Battery. What? Hens. I don't know what he's saying. What is this? Ostrich. Ostrich battery hens isn't a standard term. It likely misses ostrich farming with battery chicken cage hens, but ostriches aren't kept in tiny cages. They're larger. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know what this person's saying. Okay, hold up. Got to introduce YouTube user offline. Okay, here we go. The government uses everyone and incentivizes them usually with taxes. The government don't have the money to create drugs, so when someone do, they reward them. Same with real estate. And other, man, it's totally different, man. They're in the drug business. Do not trust man. Do not trust them. I'm telling you right now. Like I said, every medication has a black box and they still sell it. You know what else? Let's just put it this way. I talk about this all the time. If you think the FDA is great, great. If you think these guys are doing great thing, great. I'm going to tell you right now, American companies can't sell their products in other countries because the products in American goods are on the banned food list. That's all you should know. We allegedly have an FDA, USDA, and other government agencies supposedly protecting us. The other countries already have a banned food list, knowing the banned substances are bad for you, and America still feeds it to its citizens. Then tries to block your health care when you get the side effects from these banned substances that they know are banned from other countries and they can't sell the products in their countries. This is why our food tastes different when you go to a lot of countries because they can't have those chemicals that they sell to us here under FDA approval. Man, I get pissed. I'm sorry. I just get upset when people are acting ignorant. Stop. Stop. They are not the good guys. They have a black box on damn near everything you take. If you're dealing with medical, stop. Good God, you're talking about incentives for people's lives. That's what you're talking about here, man. Just like right now, you want to get an MRI. MRI could substantially help people. Your insurance says, nah, they don't need an MRI. This is what we're dealing with out here, man. In the real world, the government is not your friend. All I'm going to say again, they're not your friend. They're not out here protecting you. In fact, you know what? Hold on right now. Hold on. Um, Check this out. How many banned substances does the U.S. allow in its food to its citizens versus other countries? Let's just go look. So while you're all giddy about the FDA approving people and allowing them to do these experiments, the US allows thousands more food additives than countries like the EU. Thousands. Okay, I'm sorry. I get upset because I already know this. And people are out here acting like, oh, yeah, the FDA is all good. USDA is all good. These guys are protecting American citizens. Thousands. Which bans many substances the U.S. permits due to potential links to cancer, hyperactivity, or other health issues such as artificial dyes, potassium bromate. That's right, potassium bromate that they put in the bread that irritates your thyroid, by the way, and it stops it from being efficient. So now you have toxic materials going through your blood barrier to your brain. Now it's in your system, and now you go, oh, why is people fucked up? Come on, man, stop this. Stop it. Stop it. Unfortunately, this is something I know a little bit about. And BHA, BHT, reflecting different regulatory philosophies where the EU's precautionary principle, prove safe first. Exactly. And the US generally assumes safety until proven otherwise. This is from AI. Do you not hear what even AI is not going to lie about? Just what I told you. The US generally assumes safety until proven otherwise. Like I told you, just because they allow it does not mean jack crap. These guys are out here trying to kill you and take away your health care at the same time. That's what they do for a living, eliminating the United States population. And those who are less fortunate, who don't have any money, are the most vulnerable because you can't go to the better doctors. You can't go to alternative universe and sit out here and go, well, let me go, because the doctor's never going to tell you, oh, by the way, if you took progesterone because your body stops making it once you're in your 30s, that you're going to have hot flashes, and we're going to call it menopause. And by the way, women, go check out what your doctor may not tell you about menopause. You'll wake up, and then you'll find out that they're trying to kill you. Or let's just put it this way, you're going to have health issues because the longer you're doing something from this United States, which does thousands, according to the AI, which is true, of banned substances. And again, what I put in the chat room is actually the thing. Let me do this, man. This is what they say in AI, just so everybody can see the difference between EU and America. EU says prove safety first. America says safety until proven otherwise. You're the guinea pigs, ladies and gentlemen. That's what people don't understand. People are like, why is cancer rising? Why is prostate cancer rising? Why are tumors everywhere called AKA cancers? Why are people having mental issues? If you guys only knew half of the stuff that is in our supply of food that messes with your brain because it's allowing things to come through, that is part of the problem. What's in your blood system? When people go in and they say, oh, I got high blood pressure, or I got diabetes, or it's because they're allowing our food supply to have sugar. I was at the store today and I saw Rice Krispies. And that's something that I used to get, but I was more active and playing sports. And I'd get me some milk, which is mucus. And so then, it turns into, okay, maybe I should do almond milk and things like this. But the fact of the matter is, so now you have something that mammals shouldn't even take after you're weaned off of the mama's milk and all that. You shouldn't even be using it. but people still use it. It causes mucus, and America allows you to drink it. Then people have respiratory problems. Yeah, you think? Come on, man. This is craziness right now. I shouldn't even be having this discussion because I get heated. I get heated. Because once you realize the government's trying to kill you, now it explains why a lot of people are sick. Because you have to be. That Rice Krispie cereal I looked today at 35 grams of carbs, 3 grams of sugar. Luckily, I was running around and doing all kind of crazy. But the fact of the matter is, if you're not running around getting toxins out of your system, sweating and doing all this other stuff and eating normally other good stuff, 35 packs of sugar, ladies and gentlemen, for one bowl. One bowl of Rice Krispie treats. Not Rice Krispie treats, Rice Chex. Rice Chex, 35 grams of carbs. Carbohydrates turn into sugar in your system. Guess what happens with sugar? Sugar on the brain is a problem. Sugar in your body, diabetes. So, and other complications. So, all of that, the United States allows all these companies to poison its citizens. Literally, because they already know what happens. My uncle, Dr. Pepper, it has 50 grams of sugar when you add the carbs and the sugar for one 12-ounce can. I grabbed him up, told him, no, this is why my aunt's in this condition, because it puts plaque on your brain, sugar, and it starts infiltrating your system. That's how you get mental Alzheimer's and other dementia. And the plaque builds up on your neurons, neurotransmitters. And so now you're getting reduction. Then you're not getting any new cells, right? Any new brain cells, which lion's mane, MCT powder, blueberries. This is the type of stuff you need intake to actually give you a lot of new brain cells. Meanwhile, people drink alcohol, which destroys some brain cells. So you're defeating the whole purpose. But they're not drinkers of alcoholic, but what they have been is processed foods, not cooking, and drinking. I don't even know how many hundreds of grams of sugar a day. Some people have other things. Diabetes happens, like my uncle, high blood pressure. Other people have dementia situations. It all works different on people, or body organs that start effing up and other things. So once again, uh, man, honey, I should have had you on tonight.
Why?
Talking about the FDA. and
You can call me. I'm right in there.
yeah, I got heated. I got heated. Oh man, people are saying these guys, the FDA's have these. What do they call it? Jesus, it's had something to do with they allow a certain group of people to apply to the FDA, and then they're allowed to, if it's under 200,000 people, it can affect under 200,000 people for some serious, like a serious drug, or not drug problem, but a serious, uh, what word do I want to use? Where it's somebody that's sick, like less than 200,000 people that it has affected. And so the FDA has a special approval process. And then those people can actually get tax credits, tax breaks, and some other, incentives. And they can actually bring it to market and then have 7 years of exclusivity. And I can't remember where they use it because I've never heard of this term before. And so I was telling you, the person, I'm sitting there going, man, the FDA is not your friend. I mean, so I got to have you on one of these days. So I don't even know if you want to get into it.
That's fine.
But I was telling them about how the you're doing progesterone cream and they won't even allow it on the floor at the FDA manufacturing facility. Mm-hmm. And they're saying, no, knowing good and well it helps people, but they'd rather give the women estrogen and make it cause them cancer and all that stuff. And I'm like, this is crazy. I know, but they made it. That's why they restricted it in America, because they can't patent the plant and all that. Yeah. So anyhow, I won't have you on, but it's crazy. Crazy. I wish I've been moving around on here. I wish I could tell you what it was. I'll have to go look it back. It was something called something I've never heard of before.
You mean
But
trying to say like a drug or
no, it's not a drug. It's just that they allow these people to do FDA stuff.
a double blind study?
No, without the double. No, not the study stage. They get to skip.
Oh,
It's called, here it is, orphan drug designation, a status granted by regulatory bodies like the FDA to drugs treating rare diseases affecting less than 200,000 people. So basically, they allow people to, do some tests on some small patient populations, and then they'll give them tax credits, grants, and 7 years of market exclusivity to address unmet needs for small patient populations. So then I'm sitting there like, I don't really care about what they do because they'll let this stuff happen to kill people. So that's anyhow. I can't even talk about this right now. I can't because I mean I've been in this thing again. This is why I said the AI. You can find out anything you want to know. Simply ask what jobs. Oh, I got up here. All right, here we go. We're not talking about the same thing. Yes, we are. I'm talking about illnesses that most don't know of or care about. When someone created a drug for that illness, the government rewards them. No. Okay, listen to what I just said. F all the drugs, nearly all the drugs you take have a black box that are under prescription.
are you talking to me or
No, I'm talking about this. He thinks we're talking about a different thing. Here's the thing. The FDA does not care about you. What part of this don't you get? They're allowing people to experiment on small people, and they basically have a loophole, so they allow their friends to get grants and funding and all of that. You don't know where you live. You don't realize where you live, apparently. You're a studied man, but you should understand where you live. You do not live where you think you live. This government is not sitting here trying to protect you. All right. They're trying to make sure you're dumb, lazy, sick, underpaid. That is their goal right now. And make sure you don't have health care. Let's get real. All right. You don't understand. The FDA is not your friend. They're not protecting anybody. That's just a loophole so they can get in. Okay, first of all, let's go another route. Since you're studying this, what drug has any of these companies, these special companies that got approved to be in this program? What drugs have been produced? Here we go.
tell them to look up the doctors get paid for not for
Yeah.
counseling people on MRIs.
Yeah, I know.
They get a
I know.
kickback.
So, yeah. So, remember that MRI thing I was just telling you? Guess what? Doctors get paid not to give MRIs, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. All right. You can Google. This is what we're dealing with. An MRI is major. That could help, so many people. These guys are out here doing, oh, yeah, don't do it. We're going to pay you. We're going to do this. Come on, man. You don't know where you live. You don't know where, by the way, I'm going to get banned now. You're going to get banned. I'm going to get banned again. I'm going to get banned again. And oh, by the way, don't forget about PFAS chemicals. Oh, yeah, you think? Brian P., thank you for mentioning that. Guess what data centers emit when you're running water through their systems? PFASs, ladies and gentlemen, all legal.
Some people demonetize you.
Yeah, I know.
Some complaint, you're nailing your coffin.
Yeah. Data centers. PFASs, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God.
I'm not making claims.
I'm not making claims, ladies and gentlemen. You need to do your own research. You need to go look it up yourself. Data centers give out PFAs just like Brian P. said. FDA approved. Oh, it only affects less than 200,000 people. Right. See what you have no idea, man, what you talking about out here about this. This is crazy. You can live in that dystopian like okay thing, but that's not what's happening in the background. They can say it's for these drugs, but again, let me know which drugs. Let's just pick 3 or 4 if you got anything. In fact, I don't even do that. I'll do it this way. I'm just going to go this route. Orphan drug designation. Okay, orphan drug designation. Why don't we just Google it? I'm going to cut off in a second, ladies and gentlemen, because this is how you protect yourself. You need to learn. What I'm giving you tonight is you need to get off of the sugar. Carbohydrates are sugar, number one. Carbs are sugar. It's not sugar initially, but how it transposes inside your body, it turns into sugar. So when you see 10 grams, which is 10 packs of sugar, and then you see 35 grams of carbohydrates, that's 45 packs of sugar in one serving, whatever that one serving is. It's not one box, it's one serving. So one bowl is 45. You get a second one, that's 90 grams. Okay, and my rice checks, which obviously I don't take that anymore. But the fact of the matter is, or you eat it anymore. But the fact of the matter is, that is the problem. Which drugs are in use? Oh, in the United States. Let's go see. Let's see. Oh, there's some. Oh, but ODD is an approval. Uh oh. U.S. helps develop treatments for rare diseases affecting less than 200,000 people. Okay, so fee waivers market, but ODD is an approval. Many designated drugs like Keytruda, Revlimid, Opdivo become major sellers, while others like sodium phenylbut, I don't know these names, all guided by the FDA's Office of, okay, we have something. Here you go, ladies and gentlemen. These are major sellers, apparently. Here we go. I'm going to put these, let's go for giggles and grins. Let's go check. Don't cook with a, you're right. Don't do it. You're right about that too. Okay, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go see. We have some drugs here. What are the side effects? Let's go. Hey, don't vape, by the way. Vaping's bad for you, in case you want to know. Don't vape. When you vape, it actually, again, inside your body, it creates something else. Okay, immunotherapy, immunomoderator, CFTR modulator have distinct side effects, but common themes across: fatigue, flu-like symptoms, fever, chills, rash, and digestive issues, diarrhea, nausea due to immune activation. While Revlimid often causes fatigue, low blood counts, no, diarrhea and swelling, and Trikafta, used for cystic fibrosis, focuses on digestive respiratory improvements but can cause headache, diarrhea, sinus issues, with serious risk of varying from severe immune reactions to severe blood disorders. Okay, look, I don't know about you, but severe blood. Oh, no. Okay, muscle joint pain, fatigue, diarrhea, nausea, decreased appetite, fever, cough, shortness of breath, itching, thyroid issues. Again, you don't want thyroid issues, abdominal pain, constipation. That's what happens when you take this Keytruda and Opdivo, which is apparently being sold on the market. Inflammation in lungs, colon, liver, some glands, kidneys, severe skin reactions. That's for Keytruda. We got more. Revlimid, dead. I don't know what that is, but again, constipation, rash, dizziness, insomnia, nosebleeds, severe low blood cell counts. You think this should be on the market? You think people should be taking this? Blood clots, potential for birth defects. That's this Revlimid. Come on, man. This is what I'm talking about. You think you're going to take this, you're going to be fine. No. No. These are black boxes. This other one, Trifacta, liver problems, jaundice, elevated enzymes, severe allergic reaction, breathing problems. And they say rare for the breathing problems. Again, This is what they allow people to buy on the market in this program. Just to let you know, that's not good. This is all black box. This is bad. And this is to fight cancer. Meanwhile, fight cancer and have other issues. Which, by the way, if you have cancer, that means you're on some other immune reducing medication. And therefore, you can't fight anything when your immune system has decreased dramatically. This defeats the whole purpose. That's crazy. Immune related side effects. Why even? This is crazy. This is crazy. So you're going to boost my immune system and then turn around and cause my immune system to go down. This is bull. Okay, enough. I won't even talk about this no more. I can't talk about this no more. This is crazy. Black boxes all over the place. Yeah.
Anybody is on a high cholesterol medication, a statin?
Yeah.
Look at the side effects of a statin.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
yeah.
you need cholesterol for your brain.
Yeah. Yeah.
It used to be 300 times, or your level of 300. When statin came out on the market, they lowered it under 100, so they would still sell more statin.
You're talking about that Astorvastatin, Lipitor, and all those guys.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
The brain needs it.
So
they lowered it so that they could sell.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now you're gonna find out something else. You guys take this. Is it blood pressure medication? Cholesterol, avorstatin, or something of that name.
Anything that's statin. Any statin.
Yeah, any statin. All right. Just keep this in mind. Your brain needs some cholesterol. All of these statins create a problem. Mm-hmm. And by the way,
they lowered the statin rate. They
lowered
the cholesterol rate.
Here's the cholesterol rate used to be higher.
300.
Okay. It's 300. Mm-hmm. Okay.
But because they came up with
the statin, they lowered it down to 100 so they can prescribe people this statin product. Yeah. Because that's FDA approved, by the way. Yeah. This is what our government has done. Okay, I'm getting banned for sure now. I shouldn't be talking about it. Just go look it up, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Yeah, a lot of you take that avorstatin because that's what they normally give. Like my uncle takes it too, right? There's a recall, by the way, on avorstatin. I forgot to mention that. I talked about it about 3 to 4 weeks ago. Thanks to Brian P. sending me the emails. There was a recall on that. So, right there. Yeah. So,
I got it so I can do it.
Just keep in mind, this is not good. All right. So, changed cholesterol level. Can you believe our government would allow this BS? I mean, this is just crazy. This is just crazy stuff. I don't care. I won't get banned. You mean not monetized? Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, that's happened already. But anyhow, all right, I'm going to wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen. I get upset because once it just because I've known for a long time. Yeah, that's it. Avorstatin or semistatin, they're all the same. It's a blood pressure recall medicine. It came out 3 to 4 weeks ago. You guys should look it up if you take this drug. And a lot of people in America have high blood pressure, and this is the drugs they give you. And don't even look at the black box, because then you're gonna stop taking it. It's like you'll stop taking it again. When you have certain things metabolizing inside of your body, this is one of those drugs. Again, this is something you should not be taking either. All right, enough. Last week, blood pressure recall. That is correct. All right, I'm gonna wrap this up because I can go in this all night because this is something that the wife does. All right, and been doing this over 30 years. So again, this is up the alley. This is us. We save lives around here. We ain't trying to make sure that you give somebody something and then they're at the hospital, knowing full well they're going to be at the hospital next year because you keep telling them to take it. Well, I'm not down in that program at all. We in the program of reversing what these medications are doing to people. That's what we do. So, and the wife's been doing it one hell of a job. I used to sit there playing poker, online poker. People would be calling up our house phone, and they'd be like, "You saved my wife's life," or "My husband's doing fantastic. I need some more of this product. I need it delivered overnight." So I finally went downstairs one day and I was like, "What the hell's going on that you're making down here?" People are literally calling up talking about this stuff that she's making is saving lives and still doing it to this day. All right. So again, this FDA stuff, we'll talk about this another day potentially, but I don't really like talking about it because these guys are with the government. The government, when you start infiltrating and giving people knowledge of how you can protect yourself, they start acting like you're the bad guy when those guys know full well what they're out here doing. And that's why our products are banned in other countries. And they said 1,000 on Google. 1,000 plus of ingredients are banned that we're allowed to consume in America because they know it's bad for you in the EU and around the world. So when you go around the world and you go, man, this food tastes different, don't taste as good, think about the preservatives, think about all these dyes, think about all this sugar, think about all this stuff they put in our foods. In other countries, they don't have it in there. So of course the food's going to taste bad because you haven't been tasting the real food the whole time. So think about that. I'm gonna be out. But I appreciate MDA0214 because we always get into these conversations. But this one, nah, man, we out here saving lives. The drug industry is out here not saving lives. Sure, they save people, but at what cost? Just like in the EU, they said, we ain't going with this. We'll find out if it's safe later. We're going to know if it's safe up front. And that's why all the stuff is blocked because the US can't prove their stuff is safe. Thousands of ingredients. Thousands. We're not talking about 10. We're not talking about 50. Thousands of ingredients we're consuming in America every day they know causes a health problem. And they're just allowing it. Doesn't matter what administration. The United States allows it. And like I said, you don't know where you live. Yeah, I've heard of Dr. Sebi. You know what? I've heard of him again. Um, I, I just heard of him. We talked about it. You know, I Googled the guy. I know who he is. He had a book. Um, again, he's doing some smoke mirror stuff because he starts going, well, the government couldn't prove that I, was a liar or something. He had no, he had no, he had documentation allegedly, but no proof, no way to prove anything. Um, but if he's saying things like uh, natural products or something, then depends on what they are. You can Google the products, just like you can go Google anything. What do blueberries do for your brain, right? You can do that. I mean, it's not like so any ingredient he says, you can just Google it and find out if it's legitimately that. Because remember, America is not the only place that has medical manufacturing facilities or drugs. But America is the one place that allows drugs to be given to their citizens, knowing that there's a black box. And a black box means that, that's the thing that drives me crazy. And I don't like defending doctors in no way, no how, ever, because they only study what is at the medical school. The medical school doesn't study any supplemental stuff. They study, oh, well, here, today we had Moderna come in and talk to you about when you're a doctor, you're going to do this. This is crazy stuff right now when you think about it. Um, hey, Eric, last week, blood pressure recall. Yeah, I know, man. All of this stuff should be recalled, quite frankly. And this is also, keep in mind, this is also why our medical and insurance and everything, and why they won't give us free healthcare in America. And this is why other countries in developed nations, 30 plus of them, have free healthcare for their citizens, because they're not allowing their citizens to be on this "you're going to have a health problem" train. They're like, no, we're actually trying to make sure you're good, because that means you're going to be more productive in our society. You don't, what good does it do when people are in medical facilities and sick all the time, having to miss work, then get laid off, and now they're not contributing? You want more people being not sick so they can contribute to society by making money, then you want to tax them and whatever. But we're going the other way, which is crazy, real crazy. Um, Coffee recall in 10 states, by the way. And there was some recall for some, I can't remember the coffee that was recalled before. This time it's coffee pods. Jesus. 10 states, FDA, consumer risk, the pods outside the Gimme, the Cafe, Agua Cafe. It's crazy. Enough about the health thing. You got to protect yourself out here, ladies and gentlemen. And I got to run. It's 3 hours after we got off onto the medical situation with the FDA and allowing people to take drugs through that program that actually are hurting people. Unbelievable. Giving people that have bad immune system to increase their immune, but at the same time, knowing that their immune system is weak, giving them a drug that, since their immune system is weak, that they're going to have problems. What kind of crazy is this? That is real, real crazy. All right, let's go. I'm out, ladies and gentlemen. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here. And that's why uh, this drug thing is serious. They're killing you out here. So you have to take the best foods you can, because you don't know what the source of these foods are. So fresh fruit and all that, you would say, is a good thing, until you realize that they allow pesticides in most things. And that's why they go organic. And then organic is trying to charge people a little bit more. But what's your health worth? Health is wealth. Because if your body breaks down, then that means your productivity breaks down, or maybe your mind breaks down, or maybe your blood breaks down, or maybe you get cancer, and maybe you get a tumor, or maybe something goes through to your brain and it's all messed up, and then you have mental problems. All of these things happen due to bad chemicals in your food, in everything, even the water you drink. Brian P mentioned PFAS in your water supply. That's right. Not all water treatment centers are the same. There's PFAs in your water, bottled water, even. Check out, you guys should Google about plastic in people's body. Yeah, think about that. They're finding plastic inside people's bodies. That's right, our intake of food. Do you know what McDonald's, hey, by the way, find out what McDonald's hamburgers, McNuggets, buns, and all that. Go find out how they make that, especially the nuggets. Go find out. You might stop eating at McDonald's real quick. All right. Oh, find out what oil they use and the effects of the body that they used to use. I think they changed it, but for years, find out the oil McDonald's used to use and what that effect had on people's bodies when they were eating them damn good fries. Tasted good, didn't they? After you find out, you might not want to eat at McDonald's anymore. All right. Or fast food places should be limited. if at all. My cousin called me up, said, "Hey man, I'm at Wendy's off the freeway near where you live," and I was like, "I don't, I don't know where Wendy's is, man. I'm not trying to eat at fast food joints anymore, and I wouldn't even notice anymore. So I don't know where that Wendy's is. I mean, give me some other spot. That's something else." Then he starts naming another fast food place. I said, "Man, I don't know where that is." Funny as hell. All right, I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you for so much for your support. If anybody has anything to say down in the comment section, put it down there. You know we can always talk because we're trying to help you, ladies and gentlemen. Protect yourselves. Did I give you guys the Bankus? Yes, I did. Get your credit, Visa, debit card. Start trading, by the way. Oh, by the way, I didn't give you the CoinEx. If you're still here, everybody that sees this on replay, if you happen to see this, I might have to get in here. Um, Let me give you the CoinEx broker. Again, I like things outside the United States jurisdiction. So this is a broker. Oh, yeah, the Autobot. Again, don't trade the Autobot, even though I'm going to put it in here, unless you study the Candlestick Bible and understand the Autobot. When it trends down, that's when if the market went up like it's went all-time high today, people had their accounts blown. All right. If you're trading with that, it's got their accounts blown because it trends on a downward trend or almost level. That's where you make money with the Autobot. If you want the Autobot, so be it. $1,000 for a year, $2,500. But again, you got to know what it is. I would advise, just like MDA0214 advised me, learn how to trade first. Then do the demo on CoinEx. You can do a demo so you'll understand. And so if you want to do that, learn charts first, is my opinion. I don't want anybody stepping in if I'm controlling the situation. I want you to learn the charts, take the time. And so I will also give you guys, that's CoinEx. Again, it's not USA. All right, outside USA jurisdiction. That's all I can say about that. I gave you the crypto unstoppable domains. I've given you the CoinEx. You get a demo account when you sign up. Use the link, please. If you want that gold rush Autobot thing, Eric Bird is my name. You can fill that in as the referral. And but again, if you get it, I advise you to learn how to trade, because once you see what it does, then you'll say, well, then I could use it maybe, but only if the market's in a sideways or semi downward trend or downward trend, then you'll be doing great. But again, we're not in that market where there's a downward trend for gold and silver or any other stock. So it's all good. Now, so now you upload crypto to your platform. And I, once again, will talk about Bankus because at 2 and 8 p.m. tomorrow, they have a Zoom call, Eastern time. So download the link, please, because this will give you a crypto Visa debit card. So if you have your winnings and you download your crypto, it can go directly to your card, and it's on the Visa side. So you can take your money out. You just can't go to a bank because your name is not on the card. They have a plastic card and they have a metal card. The plastic card has the tap feature. The metal card does not. The metal card costs more. There is a money-making feature. So up until February 16th, they have a program. Again, I'll make a video about it. I'll talk about it specifically, probably on a video. I might come live stream tomorrow night. All right. So then I'll talk about the Bankus card itself. And maybe I'll have somebody on that can help us, right? A little bit. Because again, there's a money making component to it where you share the link, your link, with other people. They get the card, then you receive a small, like 2 or 3% every time they load the card. So some people will load the card once, some people will load the card forever. Who knows? But at least you have a way when you sign people up through your link, then you get to reap some reward later on down the line for helping people who, again, it's a Visa card, no name on the card. So therefore you cannot do a cash advance at a bank, because a bank wants your stats. They got to report to the government. So they need your name on the card. And if no name on the card, then that card could be anybody's card. Like a black card is cool. But nonetheless, let's get out of here. I'll talk to you guys later. There's the links. Check it out tomorrow. They'll be talking about it. If you're in our WhatsApp group, then I've sent you guys already some information. If you're on our Substack, SSN Nation Substack, then you also have some information. If you're in our Facebook group, you have some information. I've sent it there before, and several other locations. But Discord, Telegram, all of it, you guys have the information. So here's an opportunity, a Visa card, no name, and it's crypto. So other places have crypto. A person came in the other day, said Gemini has it where they give 2% cash back or some of these things. All I can say is it's regulated by the United States government. That's all I can say. I'm not down with all that. It should be anonymous, but since they want to regulate, fine. But that means your money can be hemmed up. Just like when I upload money to one of these regulated exchanges, then they sit there, they won't release it. They say, oh, we got to wait 5 days. Then they'll release it. I'm just like, okay, fine. Fiat to crypto is what I'm referring to. And this way, coming back out, I don't have any records, no nothing, and they can't stop me. Because as soon as it hits my account within a few minutes, I can use my card because the card's already out. People are using it. That's what they've been talking about. They've shown videos, all kinds of things. I've shared those videos in some of our locations. I haven't shared it on Substack yet, which I should. And I haven't shared it on Telegram, I don't think, or Facebook group. Stop Circling Now group. That's right. We have that too. So again, with all that said, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you protect yourself out here. We talked a little bit about trust. We use a few examples, why you should have one. And you can use ChatGPT to try to get a rough idea. Then talk with an estate planner, put some things together, but at least you have a rough idea. And it may not cost you an arm and a leg for them to look over it and make some adjustments for your state or under federal rules and laws. So I'm out of here, ladies and gentlemen. And again, thank you so much. I love you guys for your patience. And please smash that like button on the way out because I'm going to say it again. Like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And since it's hard out here, you're going to have to protect yourself even more. They're trying to get your DNA for non-citizens at the airport now. Swab, fingerprints, crazy. You think they're going to stop at non-U.S. citizens? You're crazy. And with all that said, make sure no matter what you do, keep your head up. Keep moving.